Hello, Durud and Shalom, and Hola and Namaste.
Hola,
Hello.
hola, namaste, namaste.
No. What, Sid, why are you so zoomed in?
Am I?
It's okay. Yes, it's okay.
You look a little blurry.
Yeah, you
Might
look
be
a
the
little blurry
autofocus.
compared to a
Oh,
out of
really?
focus.
Okay, what's going
Yeah,
on there?
that's okay. That's
I see more of you now.
that's okay. It's okay.
That's a handsome
that's
man
fine.
right there.
But it's still blurry. But it's
There
okay.
you go.
All right. Let's continue before the monkey gets weird. All right, so let's play this. Let's see what's happening, and then I'll get your opinions on where you think we're at right now.
Iran has continued to launch new attacks, firing 2 missiles at the UAE on Tuesday. The event triggered alerts, forcing millions of people into shelters. In response, the foreign ministry in the UAE said they are cutting off all trade with Iran. Iran denied they were responsible for that missile attack. This does come as the war of words between the United States and Iran advances, with no indication that a deal could be reached anytime soon. President Trump posted a Truth Social saying there are no talks or conversations going on or scheduled with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The naval blockade remains in full force and effect. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All water mines have been removed or detonated. A day prior, U.S. negotiator Jared Kushner told Fox News that communications with Iran were still underway. Immediately after the statement by President Trump about the Strait of Hormuz, Iranian officials denied the critical waterway is open. The Iranians launched additional attacks on vessels there over the weekend, with Iran's foreign minister saying this.
All right, before we get to the foreign minister, we already heard so much, okay? And I mean, this already is giving us a lot of updates, and I don't know if people appreciate how much things have changed in the past 24 hours, right? So the United States is signaling that they're done with negotiations. And also, the Islamic Republic is saying that they have control over the Strait of Hormuz. The United States is saying that no, they have control over the Strait of Hormuz. The truth is, the United States actually has control over the Strait of Hormuz. And I'm not just saying that because I'm anti the Islamic Republic. CNN, of all places, came out with a report. CNN that is supposed to be. Sid, is your camera okay? Like we're getting like.
I think he's working on.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to fix it.
Okay. So, what was I saying? There we go. That's fine.
Better? Is it better?
Keep it like that.
CNN
keep
themselves
it like
said.
All right.
Yes, it's okay, Monkey. I got this. Yes. So this CNN just came out with a report showing that the United States actually has been successful. President Trump has been successful in maintaining control over the Strait of Hormuz. And that the Islamic Republic has lost control, which is interesting coming from CNN, right? CNN usually has a very anti-Trump bias. This report makes it very clear that the southern part of the Strait of Hormuz, there's a lot of like millions of barrels of oil are going through it. Exactly the part that the Islamic Republic doesn't want, and the blockade is being very successful. The price of oil shows that. The fact that the price of oil is still way below 100 shows that the Strait of Hormuz is, oil is going through. Even though the number of ships counting going through is low, it's only because they have turned off their, what is it called?
Transponder?
Transponders, yes, exactly. But oil is going through, and United States, so that leverage, President Trump, a lot of times people say like, oh, he's bluffing, he's not bluffing. What he's saying here, the Strait of Hormuz is open and operating. This has been verified by CNN. Okay, which is great. The Islamic Republic is really suffering right now, which explains the recent attacks on the UAE, right? The Islamic Republic, United States has really found the right balance of putting pressure on the Islamic Republic without much either political or financial or military cost to the United States. Things are getting really, really bad in Iran. Really bad, and I don't know if people understand how devastating things are getting inside Iran. And it's like the Islamic Republic is like a corner dog right now, and you know what a corner dog does? It bites, and it needs to bite. It needs to find a way to break this blockade, to break this economic isolation. So it needs to escalate. Like, it has no choice but to escalate some way. And there's not that many ways to escalate. The Houthis did something. It's not that enough. Hezbollah is not, can't really do much. Hashd al-Shabi is struggling to remain in power in Iraq. So it contributing to escalation itself is very difficult to do while it's actually busy trying to remain in power in Iraq. So it's going to be up to escalate. It's going to be up to the Islamic Republic itself. Its missiles and drones, specifically at the Arab countries in the region. So they have to find a way to inflict some cost to the United States for this current economic blockade, the military and economic blockade that they have on the Islamic Republic. They can't just sit back and watch them slowly die. They have to make this costly for the United States. And the Strait of Hormuz hasn't been able to make this costly for the United States. So they're thinking that the Arab countries have to pay the price, so they indirectly could cause problems for the United States. This is why, by the way, I'm monitoring the language that the pro-regime people are using on social media. A lot of the language is now about invading and capturing the Arab countries in the region, right? Again, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but the fact that that's the narrative seems like the narratives are being set for more military operations against the Arab countries. They talk about the Qataris arresting pilots of the Islamic Republic might be something that is going to set. This recent attack on the UAE shows things might actually, think about it. If you're the Islamic Republic, how would you try to increase the cost on the United States to break the blockade? You don't have that many options other than starting to somehow attack the Arab countries in the region. But it's interesting because the UAE recently tried to make a deal with the Islamic Republic, paid them billions of dollars for them not to get attacked. And now they're getting what the UAE is now getting attacked. They managed to just buy a few weeks of not getting attacked. And now they're getting attacked again, which actually shows to the other Arab countries that making deals with the Islamic Republic is only a way for you to fund them to make more drones and missiles for them to eventually use on you again. So hopefully the UAE finally learns this lesson. I doubt it, but this should be a wake-up call for them. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, so I saw some reports from Indian media about how bad Iran is doing internally, like electricity, water, fuel prices, right? So the impression that I was getting is that of course, this is very difficult conditions for people to live under, but it does appear that I would say that it appears that not only is the pressure working, and the strategy, the blockade strategy, working, but also I think the narrative is Iran's narrative control is also breaking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Remember what I've been saying for about a week? Like, hey, I don't want any ships from the Persian Gulf to be docking at any port in Iran. Well, I think it doesn't take a military operation. They just bombed UAE into not sending any more ships, because one of the things that they said, very important point, is that there will be no trade. That means there's no ships that's going to be leaving UAE going into Iran, right? If that keeps happening because they keep attacking other people, that means they won't be able to get anything from outside the Strait or inside the Persian Gulf, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So what may happen, because they feel like they have to attack everyone around them, is that the low amount of, because after we talked, remember we talked about this about a week ago, right? And I've been saying I don't want anybody in there. I've been looking, like there's traffic going up and down there, but I think it's like, because it's not oil, it's kind of allowed. Like, it's like, hey, it's not weapons, it's not oil, so, whatever. So whatever little traffic they're getting now from the Persian Gulf, I think if they continue down this path, they're going to get exactly what I wanted, but not through the means I'd suggest. They're going to cut themselves off from every Gulf ally that was like even doing humanitarian type aid.
Yes, because UAE has now come out and said they're cutting all trade. Finally, after the Islamic Republic attacking them for so long. They're cutting all trade with the Islamic Republic, meaning that
About
they were
time.
still trading with them until now. Yeah, it's about time. This is crazy that it took you this long, but okay. I don't know when people are going to realize that negotiating with terrorists just does not work. And honestly, not the people in UAE, and anybody who lives there, they don't deserve this. But honestly, the government, the rulers of UAE, you deserve everything. You deserve everything that you're losing. You did this. Even before the $3 billion deal that you did with the Islamic Republic after they bombed you, even before that, allegedly 3 billion, I don't know exactly how much. Even before that, you knew that you were supporting terrorism. Before any of this started, before the 40-day war, you use your banking and other financial institutions to allow the Islamic Republic to bypass the sanctions. All right. And every time, so UAE, every time you see a drone and missile coming at you, when you look at it in the sky, do a quick math and see how much it costs and figure out how much you contributed to that. Because it was your financial institutions that funded every single drone and missile that is now coming at you. You funded that. And so next time you see a missile or a drone coming at you, you're like, oh yeah, we paid for that. Just remember that. Just remember that you paid for it. You made that happen. You helped them make that. You thought, that you're supporting this cancer, and you thought that you will not get affected by it. You knew that you're supporting terrorism, and other people would die for it, and you will just be somehow insulated from all of that, and it's not going to come at you. Now you see eventually when you support terrorism, eventually it will come for you. Eventually, there is no way to isolate yourself from the consequences of supporting terrorism. There you go.
I hope
Yeah.
this keeps happening, but without cost to human life. Like, I hope they keep attacking. All their attacks get intercepted without without damage, and more nations cut trade.
Yes. United States is in a very, very comfortable position because not only they have managed to find a way to get the oil keep coming out of the Persian Gulf through the Omani side, they're also all the projects that United States had around the world when it comes to pipelines or coming with alternative ways to the Strait of Hormuz. They're getting so much funding and attention right now. And, people are buying U.S. oil more than ever before, but there were so many things that United States was focusing on making happen, energy infrastructure around the world. And now they're all getting done. Everybody is interested in them and wanting to make them happen. So if United States was finding trying to find a way to make the Strait of, forget everything else regarding the Islamic Republic. Imagine if United States just came up with a plan to how could I make the Strait of Hormuz less relevant in the world, right? Forget the nuclear, if let's imagine there's no terrorism, no nuclear weapon, no biological weapon, no chemical. It is. I'm not saying we should ignore that. We should definitely focus on that. But in the hypothetical world that none of that existed, and United States was trying to how could I make that irrelevant and make other projects more relevant? This would have been the best way. Oh, Guy is here. Yay.
Hello.
Hello.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Well, so
great timing. Yeah, go on, Sid.
Yeah, you're talking about the UAE deserving whatever ordinance is coming their direction. I was just kind of reminded of that meme. I actually have a link at it. Can I send it to you? Or?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Is it the guy getting hit in the nuts?
No.
Okay. There's one where they're aiming for someone else and then hit a guy standing to the side, and that's in UAE is the guy on the side. What did I do? Because the US.
Well, Guy, before you showed up, I was telling UAE for all these years created the financial workarounds, the financial institutions and banking for the Islamic Republic to be able to bypass the sanctions. So I was like, every time in the UAE, when you see a missile or drone coming at you, you have to like, I paid for that.
I bought
made that
this.
happen.
Yeah.
I bought this. This is I paid. Right. By the way, Sidra, you're getting closer and closer to the camera, and I don't know if you're doing that on purpose.
No, I'm not touching it at all. What?
So, but you're zoomed all the way in now.
Yeah.
Why?
Autofocus maybe.
But I
It's
didn't
okay. I don't
change
want
any
to keep.
settings.
We don't need to make that. I'm just going to quickly tell you, Sid, and then we're going to move on. So we got a super chat. PJ saying, "People of Iran, we will not stop fighting until you are free." Well, thank you, PJ. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. All right, appreciate that. Thank you, PJ. That's very sweet. You guys are amazing. You guys, like so many people have moved on, and you guys did not move on from this. So I appreciate every single one of you guys that are still here. So let's continue the rest.
Jared Kushner told Fox News that communications with Iran were still underway. Immediately after the statement by President Trump about the Strait of Hormuz, Iranian officials denied the critical waterway is open. The Iranians launched additional attacks on vessels there over the weekend, with Iran's foreign minister saying this.
So Guy, before you showed up, I was telling people that CNN had a report that showed that President Trump is right and the Islamic Republic is lying, and the Strait of Hormuz is actually, under the control of the Americans, and the Islamic Republic has lost almost all control, and oil is actually moving a lot through the southern Omani route in millions of barrels. This is an interesting report coming from CNN, basically saying that the Americans have managed to take control of the Strait of Hormuz, and the Islamic Republic has lost it. I don't know if you saw that report, but it's interesting.
I didn't see the report, but then do they have any leverage left at this point?
At the Strait of Hormuz, it seemed like no.
No. In general, like Strait of Hormuz, I felt like was their last real opposition. Like they can try digging for the nuclear, but it's so far deep. Like they're not going to be able to get there.
So there's 4, right? Strait of Hormuz, proxy group
gone,
right?
All but gone. The Houthis are the only one that's left.
Well, let me go through the 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Actually, Haish al-Shabi is bigger. Okay. The Houthis are more important because they're close to Bab al-Mandab, but Haish al-Shabi is the biggest force right now, right? So, Strait of Hormuz, proxies, enriched uranium, missiles and drones from the Islamic Republic itself shot at the Arab countries in around the Persian Gulf. 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right, okay.
So Strait of Hormuz was not at all as important as they were hoping for, right? It didn't work out for them, right? Proxies, we have 3 main ones: Hezbollah, Houthis, and Haish al-Shabi. Houthis somewhat managed to do something a little bit, but not as effective as they wanted. Hezbollah is severely weakened, not as effective. Haish al-Shabi is the biggest power, but is busy trying to maintain control in Iraq rather than actually doing more for the Islamic Republic. They have been busy fighting against like Ali al-Zaidi and there, so they're kind of occupied over there. Then there's the enriched uranium. They don't have access to most of it, I think, and what they might have already access to is not good enough to threaten the world with. So the one main thing that they have right now is to use their ballistic missiles and drones to threaten infrastructure in the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf. And because they're so isolated right now, and they want to kind of break this economic isolation that the Americans have created for them, they need to lash out somehow. And this is basically the main way they could do it: attack the Arab countries.
Can I add to that?
Right.
The UAE.
I would add to that that Hezbollah has led to Lebanon and Israel having some kind of, union through the U.S., which is not something they wanted. They're also one thing that I don't know if you heard when you came in. The UAE is stopping shipments, so there's stuff they can still lose because they're losing all commercial shipments from Qatar, all commercial stuff, not Qatar, UAE. And if they keep attacking, they could keep losing Persian Gulf, like humanitarian aid, or whatever trade they still have. So there's things they can still lose.
So there's like an equilibrium of they can use their one remaining deterrent, but then there is things that the recipient countries would be able to do in response to make their situation even worse.
And neither the Houthis nor the IRGC have risen oil above 100.
Right. So, okay, so that means that essentially this is now pretty close, not quite, but it's pretty close to a Venezuela situation in terms of what the U.S. military is doing, right? Because like with Venezuela, they just choked them out for a couple of months and then did a swift operation. Now the swift operation here is going to have to look different, and it's not quite the same because they do still have some firepower they can use against the allied countries, but essentially the U.S. is like good just chilling like this until the Islamic Republic decides to break everything, and then
this is why I noticed the narratives, the advertising narratives within the pro-regime people is very much now back to anti-Arab countries around the region. It seems like they're starting to set the narrative for upcoming attacks. Like I've heard even people who make shows about this stuff are like, oh, we should invade these countries. These countries are ours anyways. We should take them over. We should take over Qatar. Qatar has our pilots.
But they say these countries are ours?
Yes. The
world is theirs.
Yeah, they say Bahrain is ours, Qatar is ours.
But is that from a revolutionary standpoint, or just some sort? Do they have some territorial claim other than revolutionary ideology? No. Okay,
they don't even have a territorial claim on Iran.
Yes,
it's all ideology.
Yeah. So, like I saw, for example, Mullah earlier today shouting that, "Look, the Americans, look what they did to save one of their pilots." When it was in Iran, like the Epstein class, this shameless Epstein class people, they had enough honor to move heaven and earth to come and save one of their pilots. But we have multiple pilots arrested in Qatar right now. We should have invaded Qatar by now. Qatar should have been part of our territory by now for them holding our pilots, and we have not done that yet.
And the pilots have been missing for months, right?
Yeah. The Islamic Republic only recently came out and said, like, Qatar, why are you? They're asking the Red Cross. So this is what the people are finding, the pro-regime people are finding embarrassing. They're like, look, what United States did when they had a pilot in Iran, like look what they did, and what we're doing is like, hey, Red Cross, please help us get our pilots back. That's what the Islamic Republic is doing. So, and they're finding it embarrassing that we haven't invaded. They say like we haven't invaded Qatar yet for our pilots.
I would absolutely love if they invaded Qatar. That would be perfect. And I hope they're successful for like 1 second, and then you eliminate them because of course, but it might lead to like some if something leads to a shakeup in Qatar, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Red Cross, not Red Crescent? That must be embarrassing. They're going for the cross. Like that's the Jesus cross. That's a no-no.
Yes. They don't mind to say. Yeah. Anyways, but it's embarrassing because it's an international organization that they all always say like, oh, screw the international laws, and now they're like, oh yeah, let's appeal to international laws. Bobo is with a super chat saying, why isn't CNN lying now? He's referring to the CNN report saying that Trump has been successful with the Strait of Hormuz.
So I can interpret this question in two ways. Like, why don't we now think the CNN is lying, or why did they stop lying? The answer to the first one is that this goes against the narrative that CNN would want to send. Like they're the party that is supposed to say Trump is a failure. Look at this horrible war that he dragged us into. And so if even they are saying this, then it's an indication that it's probably true. For the second one, that's a good question. I guess that you sometimes also have just journalists there that are just like actually trying to get at the truth, which is unfortunately rare today. But I guess they like looked at the data and like, oh yeah, well, this is the amount of oil that's flowing. Look at that. Yeah, that would be
yeah.
my response.
Okay, that's a good response. By the way, the UAE cut off all trade and financial transactions with the Islamic Republic finally because of this recent attack, which is crazy that it took them that long to do this. But that was the response.
Armin, I sent you that meme on WhatsApp.
Oh, on WhatsApp. Okay. Let me see. Oh my god. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay, so okay, so this is my tax dollars somehow also my tax dollars. Okay, this is like the UAE.
This is like UAE,
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
This
well,
is
so
hilarious.
I mean, I think this is Gaza. This is supposed to be.
Yeah,
Gaza,
it's originally about Israel and
but,
Gaza.
yeah, but it just reminds me of that situation, the UAE.
Yes.
And Gaza
This,
is like us funding UNRWA and helping Israel. UNRWA is
Yeah.
funding the terrorists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we got another super chat by Zipgun. Zipgun is saying, if Iran invades Qatar, you mean the Islamic Republic invades Qatar, Tucker's head would explode. No, I mean, okay, if I'm Tucker, I would be like, this is because of United States having military bases in Qatar. We did this to Qatar. There you go, easy peasy. Like, look at more countries are going to realize that U.S. military bases does not bring you security. In fact, it will bring you insecurity. It will bring you reasons for people to attack. And the response to that would be, you idiots. If there wasn't U.S. bases there, they would have done this earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's.
By the way,
go ahead, guys.
I'd like to quickly debunk another lie that Tucker Carlson has been saying, because there are people like, well, he's just saying the truth. Like, why do you think he's anti-Semitic? Why do you think he's lying? So apparently he recently said that Israelis don't use the plus sign because it looks like a cross. And this is, yeah,
I'm sorry.
This is very, very easy. No, it is like mock worthy or laugh worthy or whatever you want to, however you want to react to it. It's very easily debunkable because there are online classes in like the Technion or wherever you like, whatever institute you want, using maths, and like they do have addition there, so you can just go and check yourself whether or not Israelis use a plus sign. And if they end up using the plus sign, then maybe Tucker Carlson is not really a good source for things happening in Israel. Yeah.
You know,
actually
there's
said
been
that?
recent revelation that he's getting funding, I think, from Qatar, but also Turkey.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I
Oh,
didn't look
Turkey! I
into
didn't
it.
see Turkey.
I didn't look into it, but I did see a headline. So it was worth investigating.
His sponsor is this Malik guy who's ostensibly conservative, but I think he's conservative like Trita Parsi is conservative.
So I did see. I don't know, Guy. Maybe you can look it up when you get a chance. I did see that there is actually some sort of some rather fringe religious Orthodox group that does use a different symbol for the plus sign.
It's so that would be like saying that, did you know that Christians want to kill all Jews? Because he didn't say there's a small tiny sect that's very fringe that makes sure to curve the plus sign a little bit to make it less of a cross. He said that's what Israelis do, or that's what Jews do, and it's no, that's a very small. There are like people in the world that do this, but they're not the Jews or the Israelis. There is a small sect, apparently. I've learned about this today. It's so fringe that I didn't know about until like I encountered this claim that does this. But that's not how he framed it. He didn't say there are extremist fringe sects in Judaism that avoid using the plus sign. He said Jews do this. Israelis do this.
Yeah, and I think that it really is sort of classic radicalization technique, right? You take a half truth and you extrapolate, and then you rage bait, right? So
it's a tenth of a truth. It's not a half truth.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
But yeah, I mean that's his
me-
technique. That's what he does.
Wait, speaking of, okay, let me actually go back to finishing this video, and then we'll continue.
Over the weekend, with Iran's foreign minister saying this.
Iran's foreign policy is a continuous process. Each government may move it forward through a series of initiatives, a different kind of dialogue, and new initiatives. But our foreign policy has a number of fixed principles that every government seeks to advance.
The financial.
All right, so that was not the most important part of his speech. There were so many more important things that he said that should have highlighted. One is that he basically increased the conditions for negotiating with the Americans and what they wanted, which to me suggests that they know that there is no negotiations happening and there's a very low chance at getting to a deal or even an agreement. So they might as well virtue signal internally that they are acting tough, given that the chances of a deal happening is very low. And secondly, Arakchi is now participating in throwing Pezeshkian under the bus and saying that the negotiations and all of this was his idea anyways. Which to me suggests that Arakchi is also moving towards the side of the people, like basically endorsing the people. He knows which direction the wind is blowing, and the wind is blowing in the direction of military escalation. That's my understanding of what he just said.
So maybe you can clarify some of the internal dynamics for us, Armin. So I from listening to you, what I gathered is like Pezeshkian is a loser, and he has like no authority. He has no following. He has no base of support. He's just kind of a patsy. And Arakchi is he associated with a faction, and does he have a base of support?
Arakchi is a puppet and an effective diplomat, but he doesn't have his own source of power. He just he's just good at speaking English and good at politics, so he's a tool. But he's a tool that keeps moving around based on where he thinks the wind is blowing, and he makes himself useful to the people who are in power. But he himself is not a source of power.
So he's factionally a mercenary.
Yes, that's a good way of talking. Yeah, exactly. Wow, I like the way you described it.
All right.
Okay, so let's continue.
The Financial Times reports that Iran has weighed hitting U.S. targets in Europe if the war escalates again. The reports specifically named countries such as Cyprus and Bulgaria.
The Iranians are about to miscalculate, and they've done it before with this president. And they believe that being more aggressive, being more violent to create the image that this war is not working right and is going to cause him political damage, he's not going to stand for that.
I don't know if it's a miscalculation. I think it's just a lack of good options.
Yeah,
I think it's actually correct. Like, what are they supposed to do? Just sit there and just wait for this whole isolation to make them die? Like, they have to lash out somewhere.
Yeah, and
I think he go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, it seems to me like this tactic of attacking kind of tangentially involved states has been effective for the IR up until now, right? It's a way to create pressure, and I think that like if you were to poll like the Arab states in the region, all of them would like to see the IR gone. I'm pretty sure all of them. Maybe Qatar is an exception, because I think Qatar benefits from the IR's energy incompetence. But I think all of them sort of recognize the IR as a bully. But they're still afraid. I mean, they have a lot to lose. These are prosperous countries, and so I feel like this technique has been fairly successful for the IR. And if they expand it, I mean, I don't know if it does smack of desperation, but it is understandable given their options.
Yeah, so I think that General Keane is not taking into account just how fucked they are. That's one. And two, with regards to Qatar, it's not just that. Like, Qatar is completely screwed without the the Islamic Republic controlling Iran. Excuse my dog. I mean, my in-laws' dog. The Qatar, its whole like shtick in the region is being Switzerland. It's being Arab Switzerland, because its claim to fame is, I can talk to everyone in the region. I can talk to the Iranians, meaning the Islamic Republic. I can talk to the Gulf countries, the Persian Gulf countries. I can talk to Israel, and I can talk to Hamas, and I can talk to Turkey.
And the U.S.
If you don't have the Islamic Republic, you don't need Qatar in that role, meaning that Saudi Arabia can finally take care of Qatar as a problem. Like they wouldn't have to take their ship.
So I wanted to ask you, Armin, about the other thing I've heard about Qatar with regards to the shared gas fields, I guess, or so Qatar and Iran share gas fields, and there has been some speculation that even though Qatar is ostensibly ideologically opposed to a 12 Shia revolutionary expansion, right? That they actually and Qatar has also spent money, for example, in Syria, fighting Hezbollah, fighting Assad, which was being funded by the IR, right? So they have actually been in sort of proxy war with each other. But despite that, Qatar's posturing towards the IR has been cooperative. And one theory is that it's because the IR is incompetent in extracting energy from those gas fields, and which benefits Qatar.
100%. A lot of people think Qatar has an Islamic ideology. Qatar has no ideology. Qatar, everything Qatar does is it makes sense if you look at what would be the best strategy for them to make the most money. Their hope, they can support anything. They will, as long as it gives them leverage. Muslim Brotherhood, far right stuff, far left stuff, anything, and even contradictory stuff, right? Their support for the Islamic Republic makes absolute financial sense if you understand how many billions of dollars is in the shared gas field. There's a gas field right in the Persian Gulf that some of it belongs to Iran and some of it belongs to Qatar, right? And the more each one extracts from it, the less the other side will have. And it's so embarrassing and it's so devastating, the amount of money Qatar is making from their extraction compared to what the Islamic Republic, like every single year that the Islamic Republic is in power, that is billions of dollars of gas that is being sucked out of that field that the Islamic Republic is just leaving on the table for Qatar. So it is absolutely in the best interest of Qatar for the Islamic Republic to continue and make sure there's no competent government there that could actually start extracting similar level of gas from that gas field over there.
I had a question about this. Now, you say the Qataris don't have any loyalty to anyone. We're talking about the government, right? What about the people? What is their, do they have their little Durka crazies? What are they for? Are they very calm, like the government isn't even scared of them? How is that? How does that play out?
I think it's a mix, especially among the young. I think they're still mostly anti-Israeli, very anti-Israeli, but I have to look at the data. But I think among the young, there is more of a desire to live more modern lives while maintaining their anti-Israeli positions. But this is my assumption. I have to go. I think the younger generation is not as aware of the specifics of what Muslim Brotherhood ideology is, and they just have a vague pro-Islam, anti-Israel mindset without getting too much into the details of the ideology. Like if I go and pick up a average young Qatari citizen, if I ask them to explain the difference between Wahhabi ideology and Muslim Brotherhood ideology, I would expect them not to be able to explain that to me. This is my understanding, and these are all just assumptions, but I would, for a better answer, I probably have to look at the data.
So,
So I think
similar,
I
like
can answer that.
less than the Saudi and Wahhabi problem, like to a lesser extent, like not as much. Because I know in Saudi Arabia, the youth is also starting to step away from that. But it used to be very tense. I don't know how the past plays
the
out.
richer people get, the more they're interested in just making more money, and the average amount of income in Qatar is higher even than Saudi Arabia per capita. But I think Guy would have a better answer to this. So let's listen to Guy.
So Qatar is one of those countries in the region that's clan based, which is why it's relatively stable. And so you have the Athani family, which is in control of the Qatari government. They're all they all share the same last name. It's not a coincidence. It's literally a clan where you have the heads of the clan controlling the government. And so it's sort of, at the end of the day, people just defer the judgment to the heads of the clan. Like that's like part of the culture. And as a result, that's why also the Emirati solution can work in Israel, because you need to have responsible clan heads that you can do business with, and for the most part, Israel can do that with the clan heads, and they also care about their extended family more than anything else, and so that would be their interest. The Athani family, actually, they used to be more moderate, and then like the current clan head, or I think it's one of the wives, I don't remember exactly what happened there, but there was someone there who just like flipped into Muslim Brotherhood, and actually might flip again when the next guy gets into power. We saw the effects that bin Salman becoming the de facto leader in Saudi Arabia has had over the last like 2 decades or so, or decade and a half. And it's mostly like you have a figurehead, and the figurehead decides the ideology, and everyone goes along with it because of the way the clan system works.
That's great to know. Thank you for that. Okay, you want to read this, and because I think this is relevant to what we're talking. Thank you, Justin, for the super chat.
So, does anyone remember Carlson being this popular before? All of a sudden, after he goes into Israel, Facebook, YouTube, X, etc., plaster him all over everyone's feed. Do we believe that's a coincidence? It's not a coincidence, but it's not the platforms doing it. It's the bot farms and all these people like gaming the algorithm by giving Tucker Carlson more views, like the anti-Israel people. They get both more organic views from Middle Eastern Muslims, just because like look at this guy, wow, they're so based. And Megyn Kelly admitted this explicitly, like, wow, there's such a big audience. She sort of said the quiet part out loud, like, I can get such a bigger audience when I espouse these views. But also there's like a concentrated effort to raise their profile and make them seem more popular than they are, which in turn will make them more popular than they are because they'll get more reach. When the power went out in Iran, like suddenly Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson went from number 1 to number 2 to being like 8th and 9th, well behind Ben Shapiro. Now things are constantly shifting, but I think that's a good indication of just how much of this is artificially amplified.
I'd like to add to this. I know for a fact that
you go ahead.
I know for a fact that Tucker was very, very, very popular on the right when he was on Fox. But when he was on Fox, when he got popular there, he had the opposing view on Israel. He had the opposing view on Islam. What makes it artificial is pretending that he got all these people to change their minds and that it's not a change in audience. Like, I'm agreeing with Guy that he got popular with a different audience, but he was famous. He just became a tool for the other side.
Yeah, I think I agree with Monkey. So he had actually the biggest news show on Fox. I mean, I think it was not just the biggest news show on Fox, but the biggest news show, like, period, right? So he was extremely popular before he left Fox. But yeah, I think that his strategy changed, so it became much more of a social media oriented broadcasting and messaging. So that's one. And then his audience changed, and I think a lot. I mean, whether it's artificial or not, I think a lot of his audience was based in like other parts of the world, right? So he's appealing to a demand for this anti-American, anti-Israel content, and tapping into a very, very different audience than he had at Fox News.
I mean,
Just really quickly, hold on. Let me add something to. So just really quickly, I don't think people understand how big of a deal the third world getting more and more online is going to affect things as we go forward. This is going to be a huge shift in the narratives everywhere, including the United States. So a lot of people are trying to protect their borders physically, but they don't understand how much ideas are going to come into their countries without people crossing borders. Not because they will be the ones who are going to necessarily be advocating for those views, and people in your Western countries will be listening to them, but because your own content creators are going to notice how much money there is to be made to make content for this new giant global audience, right? So your own content creators that are already famous back at home, the more the third world gets online, there's going to be a lot more financial opportunity to make content that appeals to them. So third world ideas are going to come into the West without any, like, even if nobody crosses borders, because of the financial opportunity to appeal to that audience. But go on, Guy.
Look, I want to add to that because this happened on Twitch. They were doing a whole lot of like, oh my God, we're going to promote this, we're going to promote that. And they had a lot of viewers, but no money. And you can start like playing to this audience, but when your ads aren't getting revenue, when you put products and no one buys them, that has a curve that, like I said, diminishing return curve, where you're giving these people money because they're getting views, but those views aren't getting turned into like those ads getting buys. Like, I'm not going to promote on this guy. He has a lot of views, but no one is buying my stuff. This happened on Twitch, and I think that effect is it's gonna be visible, but later.
So somebody in the chat, Guy, before you speak, somebody in the chat is saying third world audience will not translate into more money. It will absolutely translate to more audience, to more revenue, because these people might have lower purchasing power, but they have purchasing power. So even if somebody's purchasing power compared to an American is, let's say 1/5, okay, it might be 1/5, but you gaining them as an audience is less than 1/5 of the price. So imagine if you had to get an American that has 5 times the higher the purchasing power. If the cost of that was getting that audience was 5 times more than somebody with 1/5 of the purchasing power, then it will still be worth getting that person because the cost of acquiring that audience is lower. But go on, guys, sir.
Yeah, so I agree with both of you, but it is apparently true that, like, for example, an Indian audience is worth like a fraction of an Indian person on YouTube is worth a fraction of what an American is worth to YouTube.
And
that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they're not worth going after, and especially if like these countries are becoming richer, then over time that's going to be a larger effect. But back to Carlson specifically, what we should keep in mind is that he also, like, when he went off of Fox, he also switched his sponsor. And if we know something about Tucker Carlson, is that he has no backbone or actual convictions. And now his main funder is Omid Malik. Now, his mother is Iranian, his father is Pakistani. So that would lead me to suggest he's not like most Iranians that we like, if his father is Pakistani, but I don't know the interactions there. I would assume he's like Shia. And so that's the main sponsor of Tucker Carlson Network, TCN. Unfortunately, and he's a former Democrat, he recently became a Republican. And unfortunately, also Don Jr. works in his venture capital firm. He joined it in 2024. So like, it's something we should keep in mind. And Don Jr. has been, I haven't liked his takes ever since I became properly aware of his takes.
I don't know if it's related. It could also be that he joined because he agrees with him as opposed to vice versa, but it's not a good sign. And I believe Don Jr. is friends with Carlson, with Tucker Carlson.
Okay, we spent, Justin, we spent so much time on your super chat, so I hope you're happy with that. But we need to move on to the other comments, and other, the rest of the news. And by the way, Guy, one feedback: when you're reading a super chat, you read it a bit too fast, and so read it for other people so they know exactly what the comment is, or any other comment, not just
fair point.
Okay, yeah, and also Freedom. Thank you so much for the membership gift. Thank you so much for buying a membership for somebody in the chat. I appreciate that. And also Amberly Rose saying, hi guys, you should hit the like button. Yes, you should hit the like button. And also guys, I forgot to check today if the links in the description works to everyone's channel. So please check it out and let me know in the chat if it's working. There should be a link to Guy's channel, to Monkey's channel, and also to Liberty Politics discussion group. Please, if the links are not working, tell us in the chat so I go fix it. They appear so. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And so go subscribe to Guy and Monkey's channels. Thank you so much. Let me see. There was a few more seconds at the end of this. I should have just played a few more seconds before we pause.
The bottom line here, the region is stuck in a cycle of statements and strikes, and there is no end in sight. Iran.
Okay, that was a good summary of all of that. This is something interesting that we showed yesterday. I wanted to show you guys as well. So Iran, the Islamic Republic State TV raises money for the killing of President Trump. They raised 810 million riyals, which is $435. Which, okay, let me see. It's fun. It's really funny the way she talks about it, is because she's being all cute and bubbly about it, which is weird. Here.
آرزوی مشترک این روزهای همه مردم ایران اینه که ما یه روزی بیایم خبر مرگ ترامپ رو اعلام بکنیم در برنامه.
Look at this. Let me actually talk. Read the translation, and I'll read it the way the way she's talking.
آرزو.
So it is the collective wish of the Iranians that one day we will announce the news of Trump's death, inshallah. The other person. Inshallah, this will happen very soon. And saying the other person says, I hope I have this honor of doing it myself so that I announce his death. I like to ask our viewers, how much would you be willing to contribute to the reward of Trump's killer?
They
didn't switch the camera. They're so amateur.
Okay. Please send us the real amounts so we can announce during the broadcast. I assume it should be a very substantial reward, but please send us real figures. Okay, so far we have collected 81 million tumans, which is 810 million riyals, basically. For Trump's killer. Dr. Ali Reza, this guy, has helped us round up the number to 100 million tumans by adding his own pledge in support of this campaign. It's easy to pledge to this campaign because you're never going to have to pay it. So far, you have rewarded Trump's killer with 81 million tumans. So that's $410 so far. 435. Okay, sorry. I mean, to be fair, so far, I don't know. Maybe they might be able to raise more. Honestly, that's a lot of money in Iran.
How much is it roughly in dollars?
It says 435. The issue is that every day that goes by, it becomes less.
Right.
So they have to constantly contribute to. Let's keep it up over 400.
It's like watching the price of oil.
You're right.
And we outpace inflation. That's the challenge.
That's actually a big.
That's what she should announce.
Oh my god.
We're barely
yes.
outpacing inflation.
Yeah. This has gone viral because a lot of people are making fun of it, and it's really embarrassing.
Kind of like a
but
virtue signal.
Yeah, no, because people are like, "Oh my god, $435! Wow, so impressive." But honestly, as pathetic as this is, we did have some serious attacks, attempted attacks at President Trump, recently. So we should that's not a joke. This is a joke, but that is not a joke. The Islamic Republic was trying to use one of those Chinese manpads to hit President Trump's plane leaving Turkey. So,
no, my question is, if you donate to that, is that like I get a donation receipt to show the IRGC that I'm a loyal, is that kind of virtue signal? Does that work for them? I was just asking you if you know anything about that, maybe.
Yeah, it is a virtue signaling tactic, and they try to. There has been multiple money raising attempts. People giving their jewelry, their life savings for the reward, and nobody knows where this money is going. I bet you, there's a lot of, the IRGC just keeps the money. I think it has turned into a scam. If you care about the revenge of Ali Khamenei, would you not give money to make that happen? Do you not? Were you actually real? Do you actually have any honor? Would you I see you have a golden necklace. Why do you still have that? Aren't you not serious about wanting to get revenge for the blood of Ali Khamenei? So many women, so many elder ladies, their family jewelry and everything, they brought it out and they donated to the reward for killing President Trump. And I think it just sits there with the IRGC. All the jewelry.
Have you seen those commercials that say "On the wings of an angel" for just $4.99? You too can, but with this tone and a Durga woman saying it, but it's a scam.
They should look show Khamenei's being all sad, like a puppy, and then being dead, or something like that. Maybe we could make a commercial like they should make it crying Khamenei, I thought you loved me. You said you loved me, but you didn't donate for getting my revenge. So were you not being honest all of this time? Crying Khamenei with AI video, and that's a good fundraising video. I think that would work out.
Armin,
giving them too many ideas.
Okay.
Yes, they might be able to raise another $100.
Yeah, Sid, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. I read a lot of stuff coming out of Russia, in particular, sort of pro Putin, pro regime, pro war Russian Telegram channels, complaining about Russian officers performing heavy extraction. So selling equipment, selling munitions, even selling day passes to to new recruits. So basically threatening them, you're either going to go into the meat grinder or you're going to pay me significant money. Are we hearing anything like that out of the IRGC?
Trying to get people to join the military?
No, this is the opposite. Basically, this is what's happening is that officers are enriching themselves by selling equipment, selling munitions, and even selling day passes to new recruits. So new recruits come to the front, and then the commanders say, either you pay me significant money or I'm sending you into the meat grinder.
There is no meat grinder yet
right,
unless you're talking about true. Yeah, there is where's the meat grinder? It's not like they're facing anything the only thing resembling that would be the people who are forced to go to the rocket launchers. That was one of the most dangerous things to do, because Americans and Israelis will come and hit the rocket launcher. So that was a very dangerous job to have, but they're not facing a ground army like the Russian soldiers are facing right now. And
Well,
honestly,
what about selling?
don't
What
have
about
anything to
selling?
pay.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I mean, if you ask them to pay up, they don't have anything to pay. These people have like no money. What do they gonna pay with? But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, but I think that like the IRGC, I mean, from my understanding, so the IRGC is the last institution to be denied funding.
Yes.
So they do have some sort of like something to offer economically. Like corrupt officers would have something to offer economically.
Yeah, but the corrupt officers would not be in the launcher themselves, right? The
Uh-huh.
poor soldiers that have no money, they would be forced to be at the launcher. Like not poor as in not that I have sympathy for the poor as in like no money. Like the people at the rocket launcher, they have no leverage to
Yeah.
not be at the rocket launcher. They don't have anything to offer to get out of that situation. Yeah.
Got it.
We got
can I
a
ask a
super.
question?
Yeah, go on. Yes, of course.
Because and I hear this a lot. Like, okay, they're going to make sure the RGC is funded last, like funded until even when everything else is not funded. But like people treat it like it's linear. But if the currency is deteriorating to the extent that it is, and like that's not really an option. Like you can try to move funds towards the RGC more, but you're just like constantly losing money. Even the money that you're giving them is just worth less. So
IRGC makes money in USD.
oh, okay.
Like, yeah, IRGC's revenue is in USD because it's oil and gas, right? Their expenses is in reals. So short term, when the currency falls, is good for the IRGC because
Right.
their expenses, the cost of their expenses fall. Right. So the IRGC actually benefits it from a currency collapse.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Zipgun with a super chat saying, off topic, Likud primary voter participation rate is more than 50%. US voters should take note. So, Guy?
Well, it's also easier. Like the Likud primary voters. So the Likud just had the primary. Likud is the main. It's Netanyahu's party. There are two main primaries in Israel: them and the Democrats. But it's like a few tens of thousands to like 100 and something thousand people who are potential voters. These are already people who are very active. Like it's you have to pay to be part of the group that can vote in the primary. Have to be a member of the party, and so you're naturally going to be more active, especially since a lot of people like this is their job. Is they have like lobby groups, and they like, well, you should support what I want you to support. Otherwise, I'm not going to vote for you in the primary. The primaries in Israel are corrupt as a result, and you get bad members of Knesset as a due to that. So like it's not a good comparison to U.S. voters, general voters in the general primary, like in the general election primary.
Guy, you said the Democrats. Were you talking about labor?
It's what used to be Labor and Meretz. They are now the Democrats. They're like
they are the Democrats. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like literally, they're called Hademokratim. That's their name.
Wow.
So yeah, when this is not where we talk about this, we talk about this in Israel related streams. Subscribe to my channel. But yeah, link in the description.
Link in the description. Yes. Check out Guy's channel. Check out Monkey's channel. The links are working today. So check out Guy's channel and Monkey's channel. And soon,
they're even working, so you don't have an excuse.
Yes, no excuses. And soon Sid's channel will be added as well.
Next week.
Next week. Oh, I clicked the wrong.
Can I quickly respond to a comment that's based on what I said?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Duan and his entire family were Likud members. They are Likud members. I'm not saying everyone are lobbyists, but you have high lobby participation, and as a result, it affects like what happens in the election, and like in the internal primary, and you do. What I said is that you have to be a member, and they're being a lobbyist gives a higher incentive for more people to vote because some of them are lobbyists and like their livelihood depends on voting in the Likud primary. I'm not saying everyone is.
Okay. Let's Monkey sent me this, and he wanted us to play this today.
My
and
hair is
respond to it.
standing up. I'm so excited. I can't wait for Guy to see this.
I think I've
Okay,
seen
so
this.
this is
You already saw the full thing?
This
I
is-
like a few weeks ago.
Can I
don't think
can
it's
I
me.
read?
Yeah, go ahead.
the
Sorry.
guys- okay, so the caption says Nick Fuentes was right again. Here he is explaining how Jewish leftist Max Blumenthal of the Gray Zone created the Israel kill Charlie Kirk conspiracy to shift blame away from the far left. Okay, so let's go. Guy, you wanted to say something before I play this?
No.
Okay. So let me play it. You guys could tell me when to pause when you want to respond, because I'm going to use that as an opportunity to go use the washroom when you do. So hopefully that happens soon.
And they're putting a label on it, which is, well, this is just what it is to be anti-Israel. And they've been doing it for a long time. You know when they really started to do this? There's a very specific point in time, I believe, and no one talks about this, when they started doing this, and that was September 10th, 2025. Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson. He was. Tyler Robinson's transgender boyfriend sold him out. His parents turned him in. His DNA was found at the scene of the crime. His grandparents' gun was found in the bush, discarded after the killing. Tyler Robinson was the killer. He confessed. And what was Tyler Robinson? He was part of the radical left. He was in left-wing Discord servers. He organized with left-wing students. He was one of these people that would have been in favor of Zoran Mamdani. He's a radical left, trans liberation, socialist progressive, hicklib. That's what he was. He killed Charlie Kirk. And what immediately happened after Charlie Kirk died is all of a sudden there was a mandate from an angry nation, which was unequivocally destroy the radical left. Everybody in America was horrified by the violence. Everybody other than the most extreme elements on the left, young people and old people, black people and white people, men and women, boys and girls, gay people, everybody was horrified that Charlie Kirk was gunned down, gushing blood out of his neck at some campus college event. And the mandate was unequivocal, which is find the culprit, destroy them. And that's exactly what the government was going to do. Didn't they say Stephen Miller and Vance were on the case and they were going to root out and destroy DSA in these socialist cells across the country? But then what happened? What happened right after that is all of a sudden everybody started to muddy the waters and blame it on Israel. Suddenly there was this narrative that people were wearing maroon and there were these Egyptian planes chasing Charlie Kirk and there were a bunch of Israelis there. And what about the angle from behind him? Didn't Charlie Kirk didn't he just crash out on Bill Ackman? Would you like to know where this narrative originated? The narrative that Charlie Kirk was killed by Israel originated in the Gray Zone with Max Blumenthal. Max Blumenthal is a Jew. Max Blumenthal
is still the Jew. Is still somehow, even when you're trying to not blame the Jews, whose fault is like? Even when he's like, "Oh, this guys, it's not the Jews. It's not the Jews. It was the leftists." And who can we blame? For this time, not blaming the leftists, instead of misdirecting towards the Jews, it's still the Jews. It's still the Jews somehow. It will always come, even when he's coming out and saying, guys, it's not the Jews this time. It's the leftists this time. And who do we have to blame? A Jew. A leftist.
It's very sneaky. It's very dangerous. And it's the only time he does that. The rest of the video, he's going to go off on the left and he's going to start naming other conspiracies that have nothing to do with the Jews that the leftists are blaming on the Jews. That's the sneaky, disgusting, poisonous garbage that he put in there. Like, I don't excuse that, but I would like to take everything before and everything after and use it against these leftist pieces of shit that want to blame everything on Israel.
Yeah, and so I'll respond. So far, I do remember seeing the clip, and I remember overall really liking it. Now, it could be because I despise Max Blumenthal as an Israeli. And so like I didn't notice that part of it. It was like, yes, call out Max Blumenthal, that piece of shit. But I remember this clip being something I reacted very positively to. So let's continue, and then I'll say what I have to say.
For the SPLC, the Huffington Post, Slate, the most far left publications that are out there. And you think this guy criticizes Israel? He was out there doing hit pieces against David Irving, the Holocaust, the World War II historian that happens to be a Holocaust revisionist for the SPLC. He's a radical leftist. He's a socialist. And Max Blumenthal is the one who initially promulgated the false narrative in the gray zone that Charlie Kirk might have been killed by Israel. Max Blumenthal made up the story that Bill Ackman crashed out on Charlie Kirk. He made up the story that Netanyahu tried to pay Charlie Kirk $200 million to stop criticizing Israel. Neither of those things were true. Bill Ackman brought the receipts. It turns out that Charlie Kirk asked for a meeting with Bill Ackman, selected the people that attended the meeting. And all those people then went on a trip to Israel after the retreat. This $200 million contribution was never corroborated by any other source. But that was the story that everybody took, Candace Owens included, and it was off to the races. And you know who else was pushing this narrative all over social media? The American Communist Party. The American Communist Party, headed up by Hazal Dink and that other nitwit Jackson Hinkle. Those were the people that were the shock troops pushing it on Twitter. And that's because maybe some people have suggested that Tyler Robinson was in their Discord server. So whose head would have been rolling on the floor? Whose head would have been rolling down the steps had the government and society been unified against the radical left? It probably would have been those people that were pushing this narrative that it was anybody other than the radical left that did the killing. That's how it started. But then it kept rolling on and on. When the socialist Nicolas Maduro was extradited from Venezuela, who was out there saying that was an Israeli op? The far left. When ICE killed those two protesters and Hassan Piker and the radical left in Minneapolis were firebombing ICE facilities and attacking ICE and attacking Border Patrol, what did they say then? They said, well, ICE is trained by Israel. It's an Israel issue. And this is the pattern. The left is pushing their agenda everywhere, always, their ideological agenda. They're pushing their agenda covering up the murder of Charlie Kirk. They're pushing their agenda covering for Cuba and Venezuela. They're pushing their agenda covering for these Somalian migrants in Minneapolis. And in every single case, they hide behind Israel. And they say, oh, the left didn't kill Charlie Kirk. That was Israel. Oh, you think the left did it? What are you, with Israel? We didn't remove Nicolas Maduro because he's aligned with China and Russia. No. We removed Maduro because of Israel. What are you, with Israel? You support American empire? You're with Israel? Same thing with ICE. Oh, you don't support Somalians stealing all the tax money and sending it to their country? What are you, with Israel? ICE trained with the IDF, you know. What are you, with this pro-Israel administration? This is what the left is doing. They are taking their ideology, they're bundling it with Israel criticism, and this is like a Mott and Bailey.
All right.
He's so close. He is always like, just remove the assumption that's false, and there's no reason to believe it's true. Well, two assumptions. But the first would be that Israel did 9/11, which he believes. He genuinely believes this. He said once that after Charlie Kirk was murdered, he immediately was. This is very clearly Tyler Robinson. He said, people have this thing that, like, just because the Jews did 9/11, that means the Jews are in charge of everything. So the Jews did none of those things, including 9/11. It's the same logic that you just talked about here that made you believe that the Jews did 9/11.
Yes.
Nick. Now, so he's so close. And by the way, David Irving has been very thoroughly debunked he played with data in very specific ways, and it took a long time. Like the person who debunked him, it was in trial. I think he went on trial, and like they showed really how it was debunked, but it's really hard to do. The person did it. So you should look up the David Irving trial if you're like a Holocaust revisionist. His very well regarded historian who happens to be a Holocaust revisionist. No, it's
let's not go to the Holocaust. Let's go back to this.
Yeah. So, but yes, Nick, this means that maybe the things that you blame on Israel, the control, like the unified Jewish lobby conspiracy, maybe that's not true. And maybe just have Jews of all sorts in different parts of society that, by the way, a lot of them hate Israel. And you should maybe consider why that is. Like he's just so close. It's very frustrating because he said
I can almost see the yarmulke on him.
What he's saying comes with the assumption that, you know, like what are you with Israel? So everything he says is with the assumption that if this was with Israel, Israel is evil, you know. So some people are like, oh, he has a good point. Everything he's saying is with the assumption that if you could have shown the Israel connection, then you would be right that this is evil. But his point is that there is no Israel connection. But the Israel being evil part is as if like everybody who's listening to him agrees on that. You know?
Yeah, him and his audience are theologically devoted to that. That's like his brand of Christianity is theologically devoted to Jews being evil. That's like he is committed to that on a theological level. His whole worldview requires that,
which is not going to change. That's the fundamental part of what he believes.
I wanted to highlight
unless his whole world, unless he converts to something else, either like a different version of Catholicism or Judaism.
Wait, let Guy finish his point, and then we could.
Like, no, that was the end of the point. That was the end of the point.
Okay, go on. Mike.
I just wanted to highlight the logic of that theology. Bill Tube says, sneaky Jews make us think it was the Jews when really it has been the Jews the whole time. Yes, that's the basic logic of this.
Yep.
Yes.
Ridiculous. Like he wants to end competition on his side. And he thinks all this competition makes all his side look stupid. And it does. But that doesn't mean that like what they call high IQ anti-Semites is not still a low bar. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now,
like he made these assumptions long ago when he was younger and dumber. He should say, hey, maybe these guys that are falling for this trap, maybe the old version of this bullshit was that 9/11 bullshit.
Yes. So I do think that Nick is genuinely intelligent, like not just for an anti-Semite. I think he's genuinely an intelligent person who's very committed to wrong things. And also a lot of like, I know some high IQ anti-Semites. I was heartbroken to find that one of the people I followed for like stock things was an anti-Semite. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go soon. I just got a message. 1 second. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I agree. Like there are some intelligent people in there that have some misconception that had been seeded maybe a long time ago. And because they've been cemented before they really thought about it, they've just been ingrained.
Yeah. Okay. So just to finish the point I was saying, sorry about that, by the way. Nick could be a force for good. I truly believe this. And the people who follow him have been, they see the rot that's permeating their society, and the people who installed the rot there, Qatar, the RGC, China, Russia, have convinced them that the cause of the rot is Israel, to shift the blame. And so a lot of those people, I think, are generally good people who are misguided. And I think Nick is, at the end of the day, he's more that than anything else. For him, like, he's not part of the people who are brainwashed, but he is ideologically devoted to Jews are bad.
Right. So, go on, Sid.
Yeah. So I was just going to comment that I think this is an example of Fuentes's ideological sophistication, but political naivete. So I think that what Nick is doing right now is it's I mean, I guess it's sort of his modus operandi. He's a troll. And in this case, he's trolling his own side in a sense, right? So he is one of the most prominent critics of Israel, let's say, right, or anti-Israel voices, and there is along with there's a lot of energy in the anti-Israel scene, and that energy is both on the left and the right. And here, Fuentes is calling them all out, right? He's calling them all out without abandoning his anti-Israel stance. He's calling them all out. So this is like good trolling, and it's also in a way it's good analysis too, right? Because he's sort of pointing out how his own people are being manipulated, but at the same time, there's a political naivete because he cannot form a coalition. Right. So because there is a potential for an anti-Israel coalition, right? The Tucker, Mamdani, Fuentes coalition. There's a potential for that. And he's throwing Molotov cocktails into that coalition. And I'm happy for him to do that. Like, I appreciate that he's playing that role. But it is ultimately the recipe for the failure of this kind of coalition, right? Because there's so much factionalism. And that when these ideologues become factional, they attack each other and they eat their own.
We don't use the name of that drink, by the way, so be careful, guys. So guys, we're against using those, so be careful. Don't mention that thing, the drink that you.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Okay, go on, Guy. That's okay.
So Nick actually, a while ago, I think it was like a year ago now, talked about the kind of coalition that he would make with the far left, where they'd agree on economics, but like we'd give you your economics if you give us closed borders. So he did talk about this explicitly at some point. I don't think it's going to work though, because because of the left's ideological bend. Like, oh, we're so ideologically pure, let's join up with the neo-Nazis. I think Nick would pragmatically go for that, but fortunately, the other side is not going to. But that is something he explicitly brought up.
Something I know is that Nick is losing a lot of his fans over this whole Charlie Kirk stuff, right? And he did this to himself, right? So to be anti-Jewish and be anti-Israeli, the type of people that you attract is a whole bunch of conspiracy nut jobs, right? And Nick has fallen for all the many of the anti-Jewish conspiracies, but he has his limits, and he doesn't fall for many of them. And because he doesn't fall for many of them, he now is lashing against so many of these conspiracy theories. But the problem is that the type of people that you have created, that you have gathered around you, they fall for them. So now he's a Fed. Now he's an Israeli agent that infiltrated among their movement and is now causing division among them by saying that Charlie Kirk was not killed by Israel. And so many of his long-term fans and supporters are turning against him, saying that he's Fed or Mossad that was planted by Israel to come and gain a following, and then when things get really bad for Israel, to come and say something to cause division among them and make them fight each other, to create division, have Candace Owens on one side and people who support him on the other. And Candace Owens is like the hero, and he's basically trying to, now that she's becoming a big problem for Israel, now Nick Fuentes has to be activated by Israel to bring her down because she's getting too dangerous. This is the conspiracy theory they have. And again, this is the problem Nick has. How, if you want to be smart, how do you appeal to the dumb following that you have created around you? Because you can't appeal to dumb people while trying to be smart at the same time. You might be smart yourself, but this is not an effective strategy of creating and maintaining your audience.
Well, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Armin, but I think I do think that Fuentes is I would say a principal troll. So he's always a troll. And so his brand is to troll, and I think that there is a potential for more longevity there. Like he's constantly trolling even his own audience. And so I think that like where we can see the potential for the Candace Owens and the Tucker Carlsons for their shtick to wear out. I think that Fuentes has potentially more longevity because he can just keep trolling.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment on this. Maybe he is giving his audience pool an enema. Maybe a lot of the recent addition, like we talked before, is a lot of third world people. A lot of third world people like this theory, love this theory, promote this theory, would not support people that say, no, Israel had nothing to do with Venezuela. Israel had nothing to do with Cuba and its infiltration. Israel had nothing to do with Maduro. Israel had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. Like, if you're constantly pushing that everywhere you go and you're like an audience of that promotes that, shares that, and you're not getting that anymore, you might step away. Like, maybe he's giving his audience a little bit of a cleanse, an enema, colonoscopy, whatever you want to call it, but getting rid of that shit, right? And trying to keep the pure, spice melange, bullshit, but like the America side bullshit, and doesn't want to get into the diarrhea of the third world.
Yeah, I know. I go ahead, guy.
So actually, I have a friend who's like a Fuentes fan, like an Israeli friend. He appreciates a good troll, and Nick, first of all, he despises his audience openly, like constantly berates them for being stupid. A lot of his, so he's losing support, but as Monkey said, a lot of that support is a very recent inflation. Since October 7th, he has gained massive support, and a lot of it, like we know, like there's research showing that a lot of it is botted. And so losing support right now doesn't necessarily have to be organic support that's lost. It could also be just the inorganic support and or the foreigners who started listening to him.
So yeah, okay. I mean, I see what he's doing. Like in this clip, particularly, he's saying to his audience, "Look, you hate Israel, and I hate Israel. We all hate Israel, but our hatred of Israel is creating blind spots, and we're being dragged into directions ideologically that are anathema to us." Right. So he basically, this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to set some barriers. He's like, okay, we have this. We all agree that Israel is terrible, but people who know how much we hate Israel are using it to sneak in all kinds of other ideological, all kinds of other policy prescriptions and ideological commitments that we consider toxic.
One last question. Armin, did you like the clip?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, thank you. Good suggestion. We got a comment by John. John is saying, "Are we hoping to find truth by listening to Nick?" Just asking. Yes, we find truth by looking at what these people are talking about. That is part. It's not like we agree with all of his opinions, but it's important to see what people from different sides. Like if I put like a mullah on the screen and he's basically advocating for how to destroy Israel, it's not like that we're agreeing with him that Israel needs to die, it's like to be destroyed, but the truth that is being spread is that this is the strategy of our enemy. So we do learn from our enemies and figuring out what the positions they have, right?
And sometimes people like James Carville will have good takes on how to go against the DSA and why they're stupid.
Right. Justin with a super chat. Thank you so much, Justin. Saying, Armin, I'm curious. In your opinion, what would be final death throws look like?
Death throws,
what?
like the death throws, the final things they do near death.
Yeah. death rows look like from the Islamic Republic. I'm thinking if we can know what we could get, if we know we could get a better idea of what the plan actually is. Okay, so again, it's always helpful when it comes to the Islamic Republic to divide it into pieces and analyze it separately, right? Instead of looking at the Islamic Republic as a monolith. So it depends on who you're talking about, right? So I like to cut the Islamic Republic in 4 pieces usually, which is the supreme leadership, the IRGC. The IRGC has its own multiple pieces, the ideological pressure camp people, and the suits, the negotiation facing track, the so-called reformers and people like that, right? So by the way, everybody, if we get to that point, I think everybody that can get away will try to get away, right? The main plan, what used to be Venezuela for the Islamic Republic, to try to get to Venezuela, but because of Maduro, being taken out, that plan doesn't work, right? So assuming they're still in Iran, the like people like Karlibov or the people in suits, the negotiation facing track, they will try to surrender, and they will try to make a deal for their own safety by selling out the rest of the Islamic Republic and providing information and know-how to the forces that are winning, to provide them, to make themselves useful in return for some a deal that guarantees their lives or something like that. The IRGC is going to be turned into different segments. Some of them will be continue to fight and shoot into the Iranian people. Some of them will surrender. The ideological pressure camp people, some of them will run away and go home and lock their doors. Some of them will try to come into the streets and try to help the armed forces to push back against the Iranian people until the very last moment. The most important part that you need to worry about is the people who have access to money, who will be paying foreign forces like Hashd al-Shabi to keep shooting into the crowds of Iranian people until the very last moment. That is the most concern. That's the one that you have to be concerned about the most. So I don't know if that provides any useful information, but that's the way I see it. All right. If anybody, okay. Let me know if that was helpful at all. Okay. Thank you. And then Ellie with a super chat saying this super chat has been paid by Israel. And then Ellie continuing by saying Liberty Politics is financed by Israel and Mossad. Yes, and proudly so.
Thank you, Israel.
But also, I think it's important to. I want to highlight the comment that it's paid for by Israel and Mossad. It's the same kind of paid for that Israel is paid for by America, in the sense that like a lot of the money goes back into Israel. So it's more of like a subsidy by Israel, but then they're like raising up channels like myself. So it's really an investment by Israel, as opposed to a donation.
I think he's just confessing that he's Mossad.
Yes. By the way, yes, maybe.
This is our tax dollars.
Yes. By the way, guys, let's make this happen. Make sure you subscribe to Guy's channel so that we make the whole circle. We're getting funded by Israel, so we have to pay it back to Israel. And we can pay it back to Israel by subscribing to Guy's channel, which the link is in the description.
And by the way, YouTube is about to make it harder to get monetization in February. So we need to get me monetized before that. And Monkey as well.
Yes. Monkey as well. Yes, link in the description below. Yes. And Ellie just bought a membership gift. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ellie, for all the support. Seriously, I appreciate you. And Guy, I think you should put an Israeli flag behind you.
This is not my room. This is like my house. I think I told you. My actual house is going to be ready in September, and I'm already planned out flags that I'm going to buy. So there's going to be also an Iranian flag. There's going to be a whole setup.
Oh,
just this is not. None of this is mine. This is my in-laws'.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
There's one more comment. I didn't highlight it, but it's not true. Like this, the DSA started in 1973 with organization called New American Movement. It then merged into Democratic Socialist Organization.
Guys, when you're before referring to the comments, always read the comment, because there are people running, there are people at the gym walking their dogs. So read the comment before you talk about it. So go ahead.
Okay, so Stuart Manfeld is saying James Carville created the DSA, and that's just like literally not true. It like all these socialist ideas come from very early. It started in 1973. It was founded by Michael Harrington. It got folded into the Democratic Socialist Organization Committee and became the DSA. That's like, you can say that they have socialist ideology. I think James Carville calls them stupid because the Democrats have all the same, like, plans, but they're not open about it.
Monkey,
I gotta agree to that.
Can you show the comment? I actually started. I wanted to comment on it also.
Oh, it's gone.
Which comment?
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
I found it.
Yeah, James Carville.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, so yeah, no, I wanted to. I wanted to ask Stuart. This is surprising to me. Like so as Monkey was saying, like my understanding of the DSA was that it was formed by Michael Harrington. And James Carville, like I associate with the DLC, which is the Democratic Leadership Council, which was a kind of a third way, the sort of ideological shift for the Democratic Party outside of sort of the McGovernites. So it was like
the Clinton wing.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So Carville is associated because of Carville's association with Clinton. I associate him with the DLC, which was a sort of a move to shift the Democratic Party right, particularly on economics, right? So laissez-faire, marrying laissez-faire economics, like sort of small government Reaganite type of economics, with more social liberalization. Okay, so because at that time the Republican Party, the GOP, was becoming increasingly more evangelical, right? So there's an increasing sort of evangelical influence. So the idea behind the DLC is, okay, we're losing elections because of our what is seen as sort of like anti-American sentiment within the particularly the sort of the anti-Vietnam War movement. And so the DLC was formed in order to create a different kind of Democratic coalition, which was much more pro-business. So anyway, so I basically wanted to ask Stuart if he could provide more information on that, because it's extremely surprising to me.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't like his ideology.
Okay. Okay, guys, we need to move on to midterms. Sarah, thank you so much for the super chat, saying stream title Bros for Liberty. Love you all. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. Bros for Liberty. I like it. Okay, thank you, Sarah. That's very sweet. Okay, so let's move to midterm stuff, because the closer we get to midterms, the more we need to talk about it. Let's just get started with this one, as a way to ease our way into the midterm.
Anna Paulina Luna is with us. Well, first, congratulations to Ashley Moody. Congratulations to Byron Donalds. Big wins tonight. Your reaction?
Look, the free state of Florida showed up this primary election night, and make no mistake, although our neighbors in New York are not necessarily voting the correct way, here in Florida, we are holding it down.
Yeah, definitely. All right. What do you make of why are these Democratic Socialists even attempting, to win these races? We had this Oliver Larkin guy on this show, and I had him on my radio show, and I went through the whole DSA list, and I think he was the guy that I ended with. By the way, do you support to each according to their need, from each according to their ability? Yeah, I like that. Who said that? Oh, I don't know. I guess you'll tell me. Karl Marx. But you go through, eliminate the Senate. You no longer choose the president. You pack the judiciary, amnesty for illegals, abolish borders, abolish ICE, end all deportation, defund the Department of War. Brilliant. Establish a wealth tax, Green New Deal. Oh, abolish police and prisons, and corporations are owned by the government. That's what they're standing for. And in this case, you have a guy saying he doesn't like the Constitution. And I'm wondering, okay, where's this headed?
Look, Sean, this is a lot more nefarious than I think a lot of people realize. DSA is absolutely funded and tied to the Communist Chinese Party. We know, for instance, in their mega donors like Neville Roysingham, who are currently under investigation by the Department of Justice, that they're not only pushing Marxism, but they're also joining with other groups like the Party of Socialism and Liberation, working in conjunction to target these moderate Democrats and flip these seats. But I want to remind people, Sean, that ultimately the DSA platform is truly racist. So first and foremost, for example, in New York, you just saw them elect a candidate that made both anti-white and anti-Semitic comments. And she's likely to be the nominee that's going to be serving actually this 120th Congress for the Democrats up there. And so ultimately, it's our job in the House, especially as vocal people with platforms, as members of Congress, to call it out for what it is. And ultimately, Sean, if we remind voters specifically of the big wins that we've delivered, that the president has delivered. Remember, no taxes on tips, no tax on overtime, banning insider trading, which is something that the Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries specifically, tried to stop. And then now, more recently, you see DSA candidates that are potentially running in 2028 talking about the issue of student loan debt. Meanwhile, literally, the Democrat Party again told their own members to stay off a discharge petition that would cap student loan interest at 2%. These are winning issues for the Republican Party. So we will be educating our voters and ensuring that they show up in the midterms. And I am cautiously optimistic that we will keep the crazy away.
So this crazy just won, apparently. So in Florida, okay, so saying, remember this crazy lady? She just won the Democrat primary for U.S. Senate in Florida. Her name is Angie Nixon and is a member of the DSA. Apparently, she just won the primary for Florida Senate, which, again, if Monkey's theories are correct, this is good for us. That means that she's not going to win the general election. This just happened. Let me see why she's crazy. Okay, so she's gonna go.
Go ahead.
Go on. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I would like to make one comment. When you buy your loudspeaker to match your outfit, you're going to be louder than your loudspeaker. What was coming through was her. It wasn't her loudspeaker. This is a bad way to choose your technology. Go ahead.
All right, but who, like, do we know her? What's the deal with her? What are the chances of her winning? So this is, who is she going against? Do we know about this? Because we just had a DSA win in a primary. So for people who don't know, okay, so she's Angie Nixon. Okay. So
Can you check the poly market on her? Because I think whatever was there before, now that she won, it might drop. Oh my God, like, so fast.
She was already it seemed like she was already low. And she's, oh, look at this, Monkey, your theory was right. It went lower.
Boom. The second she got 14. Elected, boom.
Yes. So, okay, so Florida is pretty safe, apparently. So the Republican Ashley Moody, actually, no, it's not safe. Go vote. The Republican Ashley Moody, she's at 91%. This new lady that just won the primary, Angie Nixon, she's at 7%. So let's actually zoom into 1 week. Okay, so yeah, there's a drop right after it was announced. This is quite new. This is like from a few hours ago. So okay, Florida.
I would also,
I mean, not safe actually, but go on.
Yeah, from the other side as well, because Byron Gaines won, and you saw the person he beat, but the person underneath the person he beat, James Fishback, got like 10% of the votes. He's like the Tucker Carlson approved candidate. He is and his campaign apparently was very vile. It was as degenerate as the kind of person who is a fan of Nick Fuentes, which he is. Like what you would expect their campaign to be. And like this is the peak of what this ideology is going to get, because you're not going to get another Gaza war. Like they're going to lose steam. This is their peak, 10% of the votes. And so apparently the Republicans are doing a much better job of keeping their crazies out, and the Democrats are going to pay very dearly for not doing a good job themselves.
Okay, so you're saying on the Democratic side, the crazy got in, the DSA got in, but on the Republican side, the isolationist Tucker Carlson approved didn't get in. The more sane person got in.
The anti-Israel, the anti-Semitic Nick Fuentes fan, who is a Fishback, James Fishback, who is approved by Tucker Carlson, is not just an isolationist. Now, like that's underselling what he is about. He specifically talked about Israel in his campaign, and unsurprisingly, Floridians didn't quite care. Or if they did, it's in the opposite direction because it's Florida. What are you doing? Like all the people who fled New York, all the Jews who fled New York moved to Florida. I know some of them. Anyway, so this is the peak of this ideology. It's only going to go downhill from here, and he got 10% of the votes. Gaines, the Trump-supported candidate, he was also very magnanimous, considering Fishback accused him of being a sex trafficker this week. But he said, let's just move forward and beat the Democrats. So so the Republicans are doing a much better job of keeping their crazies off than the Democrats. And we're going to see the results in the midterms. The more DSA candidates win, the easier it's going to be for Republicans overall. But then every single Democrat success is going to be a disaster in Senate as a result. So that's the
Sid wanted to say something.
Yeah, there was a funny clip of Fuentes wearing Fishback campaign gear, like I think a Fishback hoodie, and then using the N-word, and then like correcting himself. So I was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, so look, it's good to see Fishback lose and not really be competitive. But I'm just looking at the raw numbers. So he got 177, almost 178,000 votes. So that is really disheartening, because I just don't think that he was really offering anything other than Israel bashing. But I agree with Guy's analysis that this is still probably the high water mark, right? Like this is the best opportunity that the anti-Israel coalition has to grab power within the GOP, and it just looks like they've fallen really short.
Look, I'd say a last thing on this. This is state. When you go to the state and you talk about Israel and you talk about Iran and you talk about Gaza, they don't care. You literally cannot go talk to the federal government about this, and this has nothing to do with state funds. So what you're telling me is you're going to try to enact state policies that favor that mentality. That's not going to work at any school district with parents. They're not going to like that. Like doing this at a state level is just dumb. So that's why that's the Democrats being really, really dumb electing someone like this, and they were going to get blasted in the primaries.
Well, I'm just based on this clip, like I didn't hear her say anything that alarming. So I mean, it seems very performative, but like she was saying, like protect democracy, don't violate the Constitution. So I'm ostensibly on board those things. But if she's DSA, she probably is coming with quite an extensive package of extreme policy prescriptions. I just based on this clip, definitely heavy on the performativeness, but I didn't really gather what her political positions are from this clip.
I bet this is about CARE getting declared a terrorist organization in Florida.
Yes. So that's really good.
Okay. All right.
Oh, so guys, I have to go. Fortunately, I'm going to have to put my daughter to sleep now. It's been fun. It's been real. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I hope to be here on Friday, and I'm not going to be here on Shabbat. But
thank you for being
overall,
here.
I tend to be here a lot.
Guys, make sure you subscribe to Guy's channel. Again, link is in the description. Monkey Guy, and Soon Sid. All their channels are in the description, so please go and support them. Thank you so much, and thank you, Guy.
And by the way,
wait. Before you go, there's a
Yeah.
super chat that mentions you, so we have to read that. But go on. By the way, what?
Yeah. So by the way, based on Monkey's recommendation from yesterday, I do intend on doing a stream focused on all the different solutions to the Palestine problem, like all the options: the one-state solution, the two-state solution, the Emirates plan, all the different like
The
plans
Navabi plan.
the Navabi plan. Astaghfirullah. The like all the different plans, and I'm talking to a friend of mine who's really good at that stuff to do the stream with him. We're trying to find a way to do it because he's not his job told him he shouldn't show his face because he's in like a government, and like he's part of the state technically. But yeah, hopefully I'll do that next week, so follow my channel to see that if you're interested.
I can make him a monkey.
Link in the description,
point.
guys. Make sure you check it.
Yeah,
check it out.
link to my channel is in the description.
So before you go, Guy, can you read the super chat?
Yes. Nilarine, thank you for the super
Nyla.
chat. Nilarine. Okay. Nilarine. I just want to shout out the chat and our hosts, Sid and Guy. We appreciate your insights. I love starting my day with you. Love and respect you all. Thank you, Nyla.
Thank you, Nyla.
Thank you, Nyla. That's very sweet. Thank you.
It's very encouraging.
Thank you.
Yes. Also, before you go, can you also read this one? Because thank you for
Vetter whatever. I don't know how to read this. Thank you for the super chat. Armin, I hate that so many ordinary people are not supporting the war against the RGC just because they don't like Trump. It's so short-sighted. It's pathetic. Yeah, we have the same thing in Israel about Bibi. Like, if Bibi made a decision, then it must be the wrong decision.
Yeah, yeah. I would just add to that. I think that yeah, I mean, I totally agree with this. But I would just say that I think that sometimes Trump undermines the potential support by his own rhetoric. So you know, it's I think he could do more to increase support for this conflict. So I'll just say that I think it's not necessarily completely 100% TDS.
Yeah, the way I look at it is that are we doing whatever we can, because there are things you could divide the world into things that we can control and the things that we can't control, right? So getting frustrated, focusing and thinking about the things that we cannot control, it takes a lot of energy from us, and it's about things that we can't do anyways, right? So the way I try to deal with things that are happening around the world that I do not like is to say, like, well, that's out of my control. If I successfully separate them and then look at all the things that are within my control, if I'm upset about that, then I could change that. Have I maximized the things that I could do? It might not be that much, but it is all the things I could do, and that's what I focus. That deserves my frustration. You know, the things that I cannot move do not deserve my frustration, because my frustration is not going to change anything about it. The things that I can do, I am able to do, then if I get frustrated over that, then I could channel that frustration into something that is within my control and turn it into action. So basically, the simple answer is, the simple solution to that is, have I done everything in my power to do the things that I could do to have a positive effect? And if yes, that's good. If not, don't just be frustrated, change it.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Okay.
So there's one comment I want to respond to before I go. TBN Israel says, breaking nuclear material in ISIS hands. Is this true? So it's true in a clickbaity way. The Syrian government found remnants of nuclear material that were left by the Assad regime. But they are cooperating with the IAEA to take care of it. Now, but they do say they want civilian nuclear. And so it's true in the sense that the Syrian government comes originally from ISIS, and they still have some ISIS members. It's not that they have like an atomic bomb ready, but even any sort of nuclear material that isn't very well guarded can be used to make like either a dirty bomb or poison water or stuff like that. So it is troublesome, but it's not like ISIS has a nuke.
So Jolani has it.
Yes, and it's not a nuke; it's nuclear material.
By the way,
yeah,
Vadu, thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for being on our side. Like you are doing so much more than most people. So I just wanted to appreciate you for it. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's nuclear dust from 2007 when Israel attacked. From 2007 when Israel attacked the Assad regime, we attacked their nuclear reactor that they were building. Yeah. Okay. So, Guy, go put your kid to sleep. Yeah. So I'm gonna go do that now. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
And subscribe to my channel.
Okay. Subscribe to Guy in the channel. Okay.
Didn't Israel just bomb Syria?
Yeah, I did hear something about that.
Yeah, I heard they took a maybe I could bring that up, but right now we're doing the midterms, and maybe I could line up something regarding Israel. It's weird for us to do Israel after Guy leaves. I want Guy to be here for Israel. Okay, I'll look at this. But let's yes, but let's go back to the midterms because I'm trying to understand what's happening. Because I saw so for the Senate, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. That DSA lady Angie Nixon is going to face off Ashley Moody, right? So who are these people? Like again, I'm trying to understand. This is Florida as well. So let me just play this and figure out what's happening here. Why is that? Okay.
NBC News projects that broadcaster Ryan Elijah has defeated Republican Congressman Corey Mills in the primary in Florida. NBC News.
Okay, so what is this? Is this for Senate or Congress?
This is for Congress.
What? Because, okay, so this is different. So this is good as well because Corey Mills is not on our side. So this was earlier we saw that the Republican side had won. Basically, the primary for the Senate was the candidate that we liked because basically the crazy didn't win. On the Democratic side, the DSA won, but on the Republican side, I mean, that lady, the Ashley Moody ones, which is good. So now for Congress, this Ryan Elijah win and Corey Mills didn't win, and this is good for us as well, right? Corey Mills is a crazy person, right? Like that we don't.
I have
like.
a question.
Yeah. I don't really know.
No, like before you ask a question, can we actually address what I'm saying? I think this is correct, right? Corey Mills, yes. Here, actually, I'm right. Breaking GOP Republican Corey Mills, who cast the deciding vote against removing Ilhan Omar from her committees for justifying Charlie Kirk's murder, has lost his primary to Ryan Elijah. Good riddance.
Why did he do
Good
that?
riddance. Ilhan Omar should have 0 committee positions, let alone a seat in Congress. So, yeah, why did he do that? I don't know why did he do that. He's a Republican, Corey Mills. Why would he do that? Anybody?
Para lobbies.
No.
He's a military vet too.
Yeah,
Really?
but there's like $1,269,000,000 in anti-Jewish Farah lobbies.
Oh, this is why they have the Ilhan Omar picture up here, because I was like, what does she got to do with any of this? So now that picture up the right corner makes sense. Maybe the caption here also breaking. It's official. Republican Corey Mills, who was the deciding vote to protect Ilhan Omar from being stripped of her committees, unseated by Ryan Elijah. This is huge. Corey Mills likely would have lost this seat for Trump and Mike Johnson. Big wins. All right, so go on, Monkey. You wanted to say something?
So this guy is on MSN, MS Now. This guy is on it. Like, is he just used to arguing with 4 Democrats all day? Is this what his job was? Because he just said like he is from MSNBC or some shit, something like that. Like that's a
Okay,
good.
what's your
If you're
point?
the only Republican on an MSNBC show, you're used to arguing with because he's a Republican, but he just said that he was on like basically a Democrat news network.
I mean, I don't really care about this guy. If you're talking about him, I'm caring about Ryan Elijah and Corey
Yeah,
Mills.
Ryan Elijah. They just said he was in MSNBC. Like,
no, I think he was just referring to himself. Let me play it again.
NBC News projects that broadcaster Ryan Elijah
Broadcast.
has defeated Republican Congressman Corey Mills in the primary in Florida.
He didn't say
I don't know where he
broadcaster for
broadcast.
who.
Yeah, it just says a broadcaster.
Because he
say
put them really close together, I was confused. Like he's broadcasting for who?
Oh, okay. So let me see. What district of Florida this is?
7th.
You know?
7th.
Okay. So District 7th Congress midterm polymarket. Hopefully that was the search terms that I need. No. Polymarket. Let's see. Oh, Florida. Forgot to mention the state. Okay, let me see. How are we doing? Up. Not that one. Primary, not primary. House election. Odds. Is this what we're supposed to look at? House election. This Florida 7 House election winner. It doesn't have the candidates. It's just Republican.
Oh, so this is just party.
Yes. Okay, so Monkey, look at this. Let's see. Why does this drop and then come back? This is crazy. I don't know how to interpret this.
Maybe it was close, and when he won, it went back up.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so this is good news. We have so many good news right now in the past couple of hours with regards to election results. The crazies are winning on the Democratic side, and the non-crazies are winning on the Republican side. So far, so good.
How do you feel about crazies winning on the Democratic side?
Oh, this is actually a good topic, Sid, because you're more of a centrist. So you wish like we could have better people on the Democratic side as well, right? Like you don't like it that we have. Because if you're a right-leaning person, you like the crazies winning on the Democratic side because that gives the Republicans a better chance to win the midterms. But if you just want general more sanity in U.S. politics, you're hoping that you could just get more sanity on both sides, right?
I feel very divided on this, like so I think that there is a kind of there is a form of a sort of healthy polity where there is good faith debate and criticism coming from different sides as a way to sort of negotiate good policy and good relations. So but I would say that, like, I also think the more I look into it, the more I feel like the sort of the normie crazy divide is overblown. It seems like the hard left has done a lot of shifting the Overton window and moving the sort of mainstream Democratic Party quite extreme, at least in my view. Like, I find it very alienating. Even having been a lifetime Democrat, I find even the sort of mainstream positions very alienating on a lot of stuff. So, I don't know. I think that the difference between DSA and mainstream Democrats appears like largely aesthetic, rather than really.
So you think mainstream is as bad then?
I do. Yes, maybe not as bad, but I think that a lot of the policies that, I think we're very focused on geopolitics, right? We're very focused on the Middle East, that impacts our analysis of politics. But if you go beyond the geopolitics, right, and if you go beyond the Middle East, I think that the left, the sort of, let's say, a more revolutionary Marxist left, has successfully shifted a lot of policy, a lot of like, for example, gender, race, economics. They've successfully shifted the establishment to much more hard left positions. At least
so wouldn't that mean that you should want the whole thing to, because that means that there's not much hope for reform unless the whole thing crashes and burns, and maybe you could have something built from the ashes. Like if it's that bad,
yeah,
wouldn't you want to be in a favor of let the whole thing burn to the ground?
I mean, I
strategy.
Yeah, I do have a let the whole thing burn impulse, but I'm fighting with myself on this, right? Because it's like I actually, what I would really like is for both parties to be sane, right? And that's what I would really like. And if we let it burn, I don't know what's going to emerge, what's going to come out of the ashes. And this is why I'm very skeptical of revolutions in general. Because I think, most of the time they turn bad. I'm saying I don't have a good answer.
We're not doing a revolution, we're not trying to destroy the institutions. I think people not getting voted for being crazy is not like a revolutionary. Like maybe we shouldn't use their language like burn it to the ground, because that might make us seem like kind of like those people, like the leftists who are trying to destroy the foundations and institutions and basically everything that makes the West. So maybe you shouldn't use that language, right? Because that's the language they use because they want to destroy. But all we're saying is that it's good that all of the crazies make the party lose so badly that we could have something that they get so punished for going in the wrong direction that maybe something we could have built something new from scratch at some point.
Yeah, no.
Right?
I mean, I wish I could answer the question, and I just can't. Right? I know what I want. I don't know how to get there. But
Yes.
it's possible. It's possible that this, that let's say crazy electoral success on the Democratic side leads to something closer to what I want. And if that happens, then yes, I'm an accelerationist, right? I'll sign up for that. But yeah, I mean, but the future, we have to wait to see what happens, right? The future will tell us.
Let's see what the monkey thinks about this as well. Monkey, what do you think?
I want them to basically be absolutely destroyed. I despise it with every fiber of my being, every aspect of the Democrat Party, since they fought to have slaves till they created the Ku Klux Klan, till they created their forced sterilization network that came here in Puerto Rico and forcefully sterilized. I think it was millions of our women. At least hundreds of thousands. I don't have correct numbers, but I despise every part of the Democrat Party, especially the elected. I overall put it on the elected. I think the elected are the ones that should pay reparations, not black or white. It shouldn't be by race. It should be like these Democrat elected scum pieces of shit. They are the root, the trunk, the tree, the branches, and the leaves of systemic racism, and they are still against everyone now having the liberty to own and defend themselves and their property. I despise them.
Sid, do you think that Monkey is right regarding holding the Democratic Party, maybe not this version, but from the 1970s, responsible for all the things that Monkey just said? Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. I think that there's a long list of crimes, so this is what Monkey's talking about. But I guess I'm not thinking about so much that as just everyday voters, regular voters. So yes, I think that we can relitigate, and we should, as a part of a historical analysis, we should look back on our history, and we should be able to dissect it and call out all of the crimes, and all of the misdeeds, and we should be able to do that. And I think what Monkey is talking about is true with regards to the Democratic Party's association with slavery, and with the KKK, and then, you know, looking later, we can talk about Jimmy Carter. Somebody's bringing that up now, right? So I think that there is a long list of crimes, but there's this other side too, which is just voters, right? Not necessarily politicians, but voters. And I think that there is a value in having competitive elections and some level of intellectual diversity. So that's, you know, that I think that politics works best when there is competition and there is ideological diversity, and people have genuine choices, and but I think that right now it doesn't feel like that's the case, right? It doesn't feel like that's the case. So I'm thinking about it more from the perspective of the future, and Monkey is looking more in the past, and I think both those perspectives are important.
I'd like to point something out. I am not speaking about the past. The Democrat Party has not changed any of their policies. They changed their marketing for the exact same policy. They are still against gun rights. They still want to take your property rights. They still want to lessen. They are still as controlling as they have always been. This has been the eternal lie that has been propagandized by the Democrats. Oh, we changed. You didn't change. You marketed that we sterilize ourselves. You marketed that we harm ourselves. You marketed that it was good for us to have less rights. Just because you change the markets from you are inferior to you should do this for your own good, not we should do this to you because you're inferior, they changed to do this to yourself for your own good. That change in marketing does not change a single policy. There have been consistently, presently, and their plans for the future are the same garbage, authoritarian bullshit that has always been. We can talk about the marketing and we can talk about the voters. I don't hate the voters at all. If you notice, I said the elected. I separated the elected from the voters.
Yeah.
But they have not changed any of their policies. So that's why I put it in the present tense as a continuation that hasn't stopped.
Yeah, so no, I think that's fair. As I said, it's really. So I'll say the two things. I mean, one is that my alienation from the Democratic Party started more than 10 years ago. Okay, but I mean, actually, maybe even earlier than that. No, I would say my alienation started a little over a decade ago. I guess my questioning started probably around the 2000 election. So it's been a long time for me where it's just like I don't necessarily feel like a modal Democrat, even though I largely voted Democratic. But I would say, like, okay, I think the party has become quite extreme in many respects, and that is what forced my alienation. But in the process, I've also started to reevaluate my own positions and why did I support the Democratic Party? And I think in many cases I was manipulated, right? So I wasn't seeing the dark side, and I was probably buying into too much what the sort of mainstream discourse was on it. So yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm guilty. I'm guilty as charged. But I what I'm talking about is I still have a hope, right, for a competitive political landscape where there are people with different ideas, coming from different perspectives, competing with each other, and there being a healthy discourse leading to improved policies and accountability.
All right, let me get some super chats. We should read some of these super chats because
I just want to say I don't mean voters. I just want to.
No, I know you don't. I know,
guys. When I say let's do this, like this, dude, make it easy for me to mod this. Okay, thank you so much. Justin saying, has it come out yet where that nuke material came from? Okay, so this is the new nuclear material that they found in Syria. And saying that stuff can be traced back to the country of origin. I think it came from North Korea, but I'll read it, okay? And it's yes, it can be traced to the country of origin, and if it's determined to have come from Iran, I'm telling you right now, that's game over for the Islamic Republic. So let me just read this for you guys. So this is really recent. This just happened in the past 24 hours or so. The IAEA confirmed the discovery of several tons of undeclared nuclear material at a hidden site in Syria. The Syrian transitional authorities disclosed the location to international inspectors via an official letter on apparently July 17, 2026. So this is the confirmation happened just today, but apparently this was something that the current administration, the Jolani administration, the Al-Shara administration told the international inspector about in July. The material constitutes a secret legacy stockpile originating from the disposed Bashar al-Assad regime. Okay. Historical records and uranium signatures link Syria's covert nuclear efforts to pass technical assistance from North Korea. The atomic material now being cataloged and placed under the direct IAEA international safeguard protocols. So this is what we're hearing right now. I think we need to wait and see if we get more information about this. But the first thing I'm getting is that apparently it's from North Korea. Okay. By the way, I'm sure so many people are going to use this as a way to show that Al-Shara or Jolani is good. He's not a terrorist. He's cooperating with the West. As soon as they found this, they reported it. So it's going to be used as a way to whitewash the Jolani guy. And thank you, Justin, for bringing. I didn't know the answer to this, so I looked it up. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. And then we got. I don't know how to pronounce this. Something safe iron, or am I don't know where the word starts, or as safe iron. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat saying we, Israel, bombed landing lanes in Syrian bases. Okay. The Turks try to build Turkish bases on our northern border. Not going to happen. Yeah, I've heard that Israel
Are
is
you
taking
showing
a very
something?
aggressive.
I didn't see the super chat.
Oh, sorry. Here, I forgot. Saying saying we, Israel, bombed landing lanes in Syrian bases. The Turkish government, you mean, tried to build Turkish bases on our northern border. Not going to happen. Yeah, I saw Israel is taking a very strong position, saying like, yeah, we're not going to let that happen. So, as soon as Assad fell, Israel went in and destroyed everything that could possibly be a threat to them in Syria against Israel. So if the Turkish government is trying to do that, Israel is like, yeah, not on our watch, for sure.
So this reminds me of something related that my wife shared with me this morning, which is a report that in Turkish-controlled northern Syria, there are NGOs that are repopulating depopulated Kurdish villages with Palestinians. So under sort of Turkish authority. It's just a report. But I have to look into it. But it seems like some very, very nefarious stuff is happening with Turkey in northern Syria.
Yeah. Don't let them get away with that. You go on, Monkey.
Yeah, all I was asking about it was because the nuclear material was from an Israeli strike because they were trying to do stuff. Assad was doing stuff with nuclear, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is this why there's a second strike? But if this is the reason, that's also fine.
I don't know about the details of the second strike, so maybe I'll have later more information. But here's the thing, though. Israel has stopped three regimes from getting nuclear weapons so far.
Thank you.
Iraq, Syria, and now the Islamic Republic, right? North Korea, which was, yes, thank you, Israel. Two countries that failed, the world failed at stopping them from becoming nuclear, was Pakistan and North Korea. Pakistan, Israel tried to stop Pakistan, and they were working with India to do a military operation against Pakistan's nuclear facilities, and then India got cold feet last minute. And that's the reason why Pakistan has a nuclear weapon, is because Israel was going to do the same thing. But Pakistan is too far away from Israel for Israel to be able to do this. Is too far away, and they weren't able to do the same things that they did in Syria, Iraq, and Iran. So they were doing this a joint operation with India, but last minute India pulled back, and that's the reason why Pakistan has a nuclear weapon. North Korea is so out of Israel's territory, and they obviously it's not related to them. So think about what we learned from this, right? The world tried to stop North Korea from having nuclear weapons. The method of choice, negotiations, and agreements. And now North Korea has a nuclear weapon, multiple nuclear weapons. Didn't work. Israel, by itself, stopped the Islamic Republic and the regimes in Syria and Iraq from having nuclear weapons. Their method of choice, bomb them, kill them, blow things up. There's no nuclear bombs right now in Iran, in Syria, or in Iraq. It worked. It worked. So we know what works and we know what doesn't work. And Pakistan would not also have a nuclear weapon right now if India worked with Israel and made that happen. We needed an Israel next to North Korea and another Israel next to Pakistan, and the whole world would be the jihadis and communists would not have nuclear weapons if we had an Israel everywhere. But go on, Sid.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I was going to say, I was joking with Leo in the chat. They've been doing this for 5,000 years. Like jokingly, I was saying it, but also our military academies, like where you train officer courses for different military branches, they teach like Israeli tactics all the way from the Bible through to the 6-day war. Like they teach all this, from the information war to the ancient tactics of how do you fight in the desert and the valleys and the hills. Like they're good at fighting.
Right.
So yeah, I remember what I was going to say. Nuclear technology is not new, right? It's people know what to do. People know how to build nuclear weapons. So the knowledge is widespread. But the issue is that you have to make it extremely costly for people to develop it. And that requires enforcement, right? And that's what Israel is doing. It's basically saying, if you try, you're going to pay the price, and a lot of people are going to think twice about it as a result of that. But if we just we can't expect diplomacy and talks and good relations to do the job of preventing nuclear buildups.
Right. Let me do 2 super chats. Zipgun is saying single party hegemony is never a good idea. And then Zipgun is saying evidence shows that when Dems lose, they double down. There must be another way. I mean, okay, but Zipgun, if you don't like single party hegemony, wouldn't you then want the Democrats to double down until they go full, until they're so far away from anything that makes sense, so that we could be done with what they are right now, and then rebuild a better party in response to the Republicans, in competition with Republicans? I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't that support? Because what are you trying? Like, what is the alternative? What is the alternative? Monkey, what do you think? Like, how do you respond to Zipka?
Look, the best thing I can come up with is you need a neo James Carville, because James Carville is still set in the old ways. You'd need someone that believes both in a smaller government and having sort of a safety net, recognizing the good without wanting to wipe the slate clean. That's the only thing they have. Even James Carville is still too much in favor of crazy stuff just because he's been, I don't know, consumed by the party as a group. Like, you need someone newer in there that had those ideas and say, we can't be saying this, this, and that. And you'd have to have like an economic plan, because the problem with the Democrats now is that none of them have an economic plan but the DSA. Like, if you talk to any Democrat, they're going to talk to you about, ICE. They're going to talk to you about Hamas. They're going to talk to you about the same things that the DSA is talking. But you're like, I don't care about that. What about my money? The Democrat is going to change the subject. The DSA guy is going to say, I'm going to take rich people's money and give it to you. And that's why the DSA is gaining ground, because none of them have, I mean, their only economic plan that's being promoted out there is the one by the DSA. It's terrible, but at least it's something.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that you have the establishment Democrats who have no ideas, and you have the DSA that has terrible ideas. And I think that I could kind of understand in that context why establishment Democrats are so demotivated, because there's just no dynamism. There's no creativity coming out of them, and it's really just Trump is bad. Things are expensive. Like it's very tired. And they know it. I mean, I think they know it because they're trying also to like keep the extreme left at bay, right? Like not let them reflect on or damage their brand. But there's really nothing there. There's nothing there. Can you pull up the comment again?
I unstarted. I'm gonna stop unstarting them. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. I will stop unstarting the comments. I didn't know. Let me see if I could find it. You're making me feel bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I'll keep them starred next time. But it was, but remember what he said. It was right there. But okay. It was a short comment. It's not like we forgot. Okay.
I just don't remember it. I wanted to do a textual analysis. That's okay.
He was saying, I remember. He was saying single party supremacy is never a good idea. Okay. And he's saying that I remember. And he's saying that the Democrats losing is not good because they doubled down.
Yeah, right.
There you go. I remember. There you go.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, it just reminded me of this. There's an American political commentator that I have a ton of contempt for, Crystal Ball, and but she said, like, after the 2024 election, she made a comment that she thought that this meant the end of the left, socialist left's influence in democratic politics, and that she thought that the only way out for the Democrats was to have a new DLC, which is pretty much what Monkey was talking about just now, right? Like a sort of a James Carville 2.0, which is, and I hope that's the case, right? I really hope that's the case. So that Democrats are tied down by their extremist wing, and that their only way out of this sort of like cycle of losing is for them to moderate and start participating in good faith in American politics.
Okay. Speaking of, let's actually play this.
What a great contrast to think about California and Florida. Mm-hmm. California turns left, population drops, right? They go to Florida. Give DeSantis credit. He has been a good governor. Population grows. This used to be a swing state. It's not even close anymore. And you know what? He did redistricting. We're going to have so many new Republican members. We'll have more Republican members than Nancy Mace has tattoos. And that's just today.
But more on that later in the show.
But seriously, that shows the contrast. And the part you brought up about Cuba being close, but Venezuela, when we won the majority, we won it by winning all around Miami. This was Democrat area, but it was people who left communism from Venezuela, from Cuba, and they understood what was happening in the Democratic Party before the Democratic Party did.
So what a great...
So this is another one of the reasons why I like capitalism. Okay, because a lot of people don't take into account the influence of money and wealth. It's not just about votes. Okay, people don't vote with just votes. People also vote by moving to places and spending their money in other places, right? And this is why, as good as the communist marketing is, and it's really hard to compete with that, is bad for business. And this is why I think lobbying is actually a good thing. And this is why I think capitalism is a force for good, because any mistakes in the ballot is adjusted with the wallet. Okay, because it's self-destruct. When the wisdom of the crowd, it comes at the ballot and the wallet, because people choose where their money. Things might sound rosy and beautiful, the utopia that people are selling you. Things will be free, cheaper. We will take from the rich and give to the poor. That might sound beautiful, and people will vote for it. But then when it comes into the market, in the market of ideas, crazy stuff might sound rational and nice, but in the market of actual markets of goods and services, people are actually vote better with their feet and with their spending habits, and that is a great adjuster of the mistakes of the ballots. It's not sustainable. Exactly. Zohra's in the chat.
Can I add to that?
Yes,
sometimes the people that can't afford to move get sick of it. Like, it usually takes a decade, sometimes two, but they get so sick of it that the only way that it can be sustained is through cheating. Because if you allow the people a righteous vote, they'll buck the system. This is one of the why California has been found the most fraudulent in voting. Like, there's lots of reports. I'm not trying to make any value judgments. I'm just saying, if you look at all the investigative reporting, all the hidden camera stuff, the places that stay blue are apparently, there's a lot of staying blue because they cheat. Because a lot of people, and I made an article about this, I'm showing how they're influencing in school and all this. They're getting a lot of outside funding and using it to try to control the ballot, because they don't want the market of ideas to win either. Because the people are not buying the idea anymore. If we're talking about it in a market sense, even in the market of idea, people start to not buy it anymore. Am I making sense to you?
Yeah, 100%. So I just add to that, because I think what Armin was talking about is a sort of that people have choice, right? And so there are municipalities that can enact redistributive collectivist policies, and they get tested, and if they don't work, people can move, or people can organize, like what Monkey's talking about. Those that can't afford to move, they at least can retain their constitutional rights. And this is exactly what the problem with socialism is, right? Even what's so-called democratic socialism, that is eventually, in order to maintain control, they have to move to coercion, right? Because if the policies don't work, then people increasingly get frustrated. And then what do you do? Okay, how do you stay in power? So it always moves towards coercion and cheating, right? If that's the case, right? So that's why, North Korea is ostensibly democratic, right? The Soviet Union was ostensibly democratic, right? Venezuela was democratic. All these places, they claimed that they were democracies, but they had to move to coercion, because people would not vote to keep their leaders in power. They just wouldn't vote that way, right? So just to another thing about what to follow up on what Monkey was saying. Looking at China, communist China, the recent history, or let's say that the history since the revolution. So Mao comes into power. You have the Great Leap Forward. This is like tens of millions of people starved to death, right? Just absolutely disastrous examples of collectivist economics. Then there's the Cultural Revolution. Another few million die, right? Then Mao is out of the scene. Eventually, there's market reforms. There's Tiananmen Square, but there's still a lot of economic development, and people are getting wealthier, and people are getting out of poverty, and the country is doing a better job of employing people, building infrastructure, feeding people, and so on. But even through that period, right, even through China's most successful period, net migration has always been negative. Okay, throughout from Mao to today, net migration every year has been negative. Okay, so more people leave China than go to China, even during. So this is people like, okay, they can't necessarily vote, but they can leave. And that's what happens, and people are not clamoring to go there. So this is a natural experiment. We can see, where do people go? Where do people go? Well, increasingly they want to go to places that are free, and the reason why is not necessarily, like as you can see in Europe, not necessarily they want to go there because there's an economic agency, but there's just more wealth, and that wealth was created because of freedom.
So this is what I like about capitalism, okay? Because people need liberty, okay, but they might not know directly how important is liberty, right? But people know how much they want prosperity, and liberty brings prosperity. So even if they vote for something that is against liberty, because liberty brings prosperity, eventually they would vote for whatever brought prosperity, and liberty brings prosperity.
Yeah.
So there are different ways to vote for liberty. There's three ways to vote for liberty. You either vote at the ballot, or you vote by spending with your wallet, or you vote with your feet. But at the end of the day, even when anti-liberty forces win short term, long-term liberty always wins, because it just works.
And whether it works or not, the illiberal side always fails.
Yes. That's just the other side of the coin, because failure and working is relative. So basically, that's
So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what I see the left doing often is they are comparing what we have right now, like our current state, to a utopia. But what they don't do is they don't compare it to socialist experiments, right? So it's just like, okay, this is bad. Like people should have a cheaper healthcare. They should have cheaper housing. All the things that they want, but they don't have a plan to get there, other than emulating what countries have tried to do, social experiments that didn't do that at all. Right. So it's a sort of get out of jail free card, where if you compare it to a theoretical utopia, the current state doesn't look great. But that's not the right comparison. The right comparison is, let's see where liberty was applied and where liberty was denied.
Right. By the way, somebody in the chat saying, fuck liberty. Liberty brings leftist ideology. Fuck liberty is one of the most leftist things you could have said. So, you are the leftist, sir or madam. I don't know.
I think libertarians kind of ruined it.
Libertarians in the United States, libertarians in the United States are not libertarians, and they're not pro-liberty. Anybody who supports Hezbollah is definitely not pro-liberty.
I would just say not all libertarians support Hezbollah.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. So-called libertarians in the United States. That's what I'm. Zipgun in the super chat. Thank you so much, Zipgun, saying, what caused the Clinton shift to the center? You guys answered that. I don't know the answer to this.
Okay. So basically, Clinton was sort of coming off the back of the Carter presidency, which was seen as a failure, right? The extreme popularity of Reagan following that. And then also it was the sort of the culture wars of the 70s, particularly around Vietnam, right? So the Democratic Party of the time was quite left-wing, and was just not popular, right? It was not able to build a durable electoral coalition. So this movement, this DLC movement, came about where Democrats were saying like, okay, we need some other ideology. We cannot go with the sort of the left ideology of the McGoverns and so on. I mean, even Carter was not exactly a McGovernite. Okay, so, but Carter was regarded as weak and ineffectual. So then we had Reagan, and Reagan was extremely popular, and the economy was hot. And the Democrats, some Democrats, started to think about, okay, in order for us to compete in elections, we're going to need to shed some of the most toxic elements. So in that case, it was basically we have to be much more business friendly. And Clinton was successful in being able to bring with him a new elite, a business elite. And sort of present himself as not a radical. And maybe some of you all remember the Sister Soldier moment where Clinton called out a rapper who.
So Sid, because we're going to run out of time, can you just like do like 1 or 2 lines more before, because Monkey might want to say something to that as well, and I want to make sure we cover a few more things.
Okay, yeah, I think I covered it. I think so. Basically, like Clinton was taking advantage of an opportunity where the Democratic Party, the traditional Democratic Party, was considered too left wing, and as a result of that, they had been losing elections.
All right, Monkey, if you don't want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I would say that this was the golden era of the Democrats. This was the only time the Democrats were kinda good. Like all this illusions and cope about there being a flip among the Democrats, that they weren't a bunch of authoritarian, racist pieces of shit. No. They decided to change the marketing, and in some essences, they changed some of the policies towards business. Not, that was like their golden area. The best of the best was around that shift that Carville caused, right? But there is a lot of illusions of what happened before that. And those are just illusions and cope that because the teachers don't teach this stuff, you don't know. Like he's absolutely right. That was the best of the best of the golden era of the Democrats.
All right, Zipgun, thank you so much for the super chat. Great question and great answers. Okay, so just quickly, I just wanted to make sure that we're up to date with regarding happening. So this was also recently happened. Randy Fine. So this is for Congress, right? Yes. Trump-backed Republican Randy Fine was outspent 5-1 against this guy. Really? Isn't this a Jew hater guy?
Yeah, Dan Bilzerian. Yeah.
Dan Bilzerian. Okay. He had that much money to spend. I thought the Jew loving people were supposed to be outspending you 5-1. But he said, yeah, this is how is that possible? This is the Jew hater and this is the Jew lover, and the Jew hater was outspending the Jew lover 5-1. So isn't this supposed to be the opposite? Like, this go against the conspiracy theories? It's interesting. Okay. And this is what for the GOP primary for Congress, right? Which I don't know which, right? Am I correct? Which district is this? Okay. This is Florida as well, but I guess a different district. And he won his Florida GOP primary by almost 40 points over this pro-Islam fake Republican Dan Bilzerian. This guy is like a Hitler fan. By the way, and also Fine is saying, to those who wasted $3 million funneled through a fake political committee, you're going to prison. Okay, that's what Fine told him. Wow, that's amazing, because they always say that we lose because of AIPAC money.
Yeah.
Right. The people, we have popular support, but we lose all the time because these people have AIPAC money. So now that you outspent the guy, you still lost, and you lost by a huge margin. This is great. Embarrassing for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I believe Bilzerian is a carpetbagger. I don't think he lives in Florida. I think he's based in California, and I think that he was running against Fine specifically because Fine is a Jew and pro-Israel. So like that's his, that was his whole reason. Like the whole campaign was really about that. And I'm sure like all the money that he got was from people outside of the district, probably even people in Pakistan or whatever. So yeah, I'm very happy to see that he lost badly.
Doesn't Nick Fuentes hate this guy?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So they were bickering. But yeah,
he hates all the Jew haters because he should be the main Jew hater. He sees them as competition. But sorry, go on, Sid.
No, you're right. So basically, Fuentes was using Bilzerian as an example of a low IQ anti-Semite, right? So he's a sort of a paradigmatic low IQ anti-Semite, according to Fuentes. I think he's right. I think Bilzerian is pretty stupid. But yeah, but this goes back to what I was saying, that Fuentes is a troll, and he trolls his own audience. He trolls his own sort of ostensible political allies. And that's just how he rolls.
All right, so I want a clarification over this one because you two are American. So this was before when Florida was this was from a few hours ago, right? Yes. Well, it was from yesterday, but it was breaking then. It says the top part says Florida has now counted 95% of its vote in less than an hour and a half. Is in less than 1.5 hours. But here's the part I wanted to know. You guys could clarify this for me. It's saying here's government Ron DeSantis signing Florida's own Save America Act into law, which fortifies citizenship verification and voter ID. Imagine that. Welcome to Florida. Make this America. So this is for Florida only. Was this before, right? Like they're playing it now to show that this is why Florida is winning, but this is not recent, right? This is something like Save America Act, but for Florida only.
Okay, I have to check, but I believe it was recent, but before the election, before the primary.
Recent, but before the elections. Okay,
I believe
so in Florida, you need ID to be able to vote and stuff because of this, that they, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I understand this.
Yeah, and by the way, like a voter ID is very popular, like pretty much across all populations.
It's in Puerto Rico. We have had voter ID for decades. It's free. Like we made it free so nobody can complain about it, and we give everybody the day off so they could go.
So
we did have to like ban alcohol because everybody was getting too drunk. But not controversial about the ID.
So yeah, I'm just confirming that this was signed in I believe April of this year. So very recently.
So for Florida Senate, remember when we looked at this, Ashley Moody is the Republic. She's going to be facing Angie Nixon, the DSA candidate. So Ashley Moody is the Republican candidate for the midterms for Senate for Florida. She seems to be leading bigly. And so this is her, right? So guys, this is what you are supposed to vote for Senate in Florida. Anybody here from Florida? And Eric here is saying, wow, despite facing her own primary opponent, Florida Senator Ashley Moody got more votes than both Democratic U.S. Senate and Senate candidates combined. Ashley Moody is an electoral juggernaut. So Moody got like 1,300,000. Angie Nixon plus Alex Winman got 1,200,000. Moody faced multiple opponents on the GOP side. She also got more votes than Ron DeSantis in 2022 general election. That's how popular she is. So she's apparently a big deal, and we like her. So let me see what this video is.
Time again that could never happen and does not happen. Oh my goodness, it's happening. Surprise, surprise. And they'll still come here to the floor and object to voter ID. After blaming thousands of individuals on the voter rolls as a software error. We also have to make sure that we are mindful of the fact that the Democratic Socialists of America have just said in their platform they want non-citizens voting. Obvious for anyone that's watching, not only here within the Senate, but at home, which party is asking their colleagues to require voter ID and banning the purchasing of stocks while in office. What could be the reason? We have to fiercely safeguard our democracy, ensuring that only Americans are allowed to participate in American elections. As if in legislative session and notwithstanding Rule 22, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of H.R. 7008, which was received from the House. Further, that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Reserving the right to object.
Senator, Chair recognizes Senator from California.
Okay, so I just wanted to show her to everybody here because apparently this is somebody we need to pay attention to and support. So it's good for us to know these names. By the way, guys, how do you think about me being a non-American and talking here about American election? Do people like, oh, Armin is not an American, he's trying to affect American elections? That's not right. How would you respond to that? Is that bad or a good thing? Should I?
Well, I would say that increasingly I find myself tuning in to political commentators who are analyzing U.S. politics from the outside. And, it's a mixed bag. So some I think are good, some I think are not good or whatever. But, people are free to do it. And I would say that just because somebody is not American, it's not disqualifying for me. I'm looking for good analysis. And I also think that American politics impacts the world. So I understand why people pay attention. They pay attention, they have opinions, they share their opinions, and and I can decide whether I listen or not. But I don't find it disqualifying at all.
But do you think like going as far as saying like, oh guys, go vote for this woman, and I'm not even an American? Do you think that's a questionable thing to do? Like that's not something I shouldn't be doing?
Well,
like it's one thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think that people have to pay attention to who is messaging them, right? They have to pay attention to that, and they have to decide, okay, well, what are those? Is that person's interest aligned with mine? So the fact that they're outside of the U.S., that may be a factor in making that analysis. But for me, it's not disqualifying, is the point that I'm making, right? So, and this is the thing that I'm talking about a lot, like what I'm discovering. Like take somebody like Dan Bilzerian. Okay, so Dan Bilzerian is an American, and I'm an American. Okay, but politically, we could not be more opposed. And at the same time, I'm finding people around the world that I have deep ideological kinship with. And that's just a reality. That's just a reality. So, to me, I think that it's valuable for us, for people in the Liberty camp, to organize with each other around the world, because that's what our opponents are doing.
Well,
okay. Go on.
This time I'm not going to apologize for repeating myself when I say simply thank you. That's what I can say about Armin talking about politics. I've said it before. Thank you. I appreciate that. I understand Iran is very important to you, and I do not blame you for it at all. But I recognize that stepping away for something that is so close to your heart, and even though this is tangentially tied, but dedicating some time to informing us about this, I thank you. I don't apologize for it. I'm going to repeat it more. Probably. I appreciate it greatly, because the more the merrier. Like, it's one thing to go out there and you're in America, you're from another country, and you're doing like protesting against the guy in the street. Like, that's not the same as supporting a candidate. You're just supporting someone. Fine. I don't like this guy. I like this guy. That's fine. That's not going out there and being part of a crowd that may be tied to doing crazy stuff like the Hamas protest full of people from the outside. You're just giving an opinion, being honest about it, laying out the information, hearing other people. Thank you. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'll add to that. Like, I mean, I think Armin, I would just in principle object to you voting in American elections, right? But if you decided to become an American citizen, I would absolutely support that. So basically, I think as long as people are being honest about who they are and where they're coming from, it's up to us to decide whether that's valuable or not. And there are many people, you included, that I follow who comment on American politics from the outside that I think provide very valuable contributions.
Oh, thank you. And guys in the chat, you guys are sweet as well. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we don't cheat. That's it. We were not going to cheat. The right side is not going to cheat. And we don't have the mechanism. They all created the cheating mechanisms are all on the left.
Yes.
So can I just say one more thing about this? Just an anecdote. Do we have time for this, or you want to move on?
Quickly, because I want to mention two more names for people I think that they need to know. But go on before.
Let's skip it then. Well, I'll do it another time.
Okay.
We got 4 minutes to 3 hours.
Okay. So the two more names. Brian Donalds just won the Republican primary for governor of Florida.
Byron.
Okay, so what did I say? Byron.
Brian.
Okay. Byron. Okay, Byron. Sorry,
yeah.
Byron Donalds. Okay, it's this guy over here. So this is the guy that we need to support. So President Trump endorsed Byron early on, and threw his full weight behind him. Donalds will face. Okay, so this guy, Byron Donalds, will face Democratic nominee David Jolly in November. David Jolly, keep Florida red. So this is our guy apparently. Let's play. I didn't know him until right now.
And a man who never stops fighting for the state of Florida. I know it. He is a fighter, Byron Donalds. He's so far ahead of the polls, I don't have to ask him to come up. I would ask him, but when my theory is when you're up by over 20 points, I don't want to waste the time. Okay, is that all right? He's killer. And a man who never stops fighting.
So he's going to be replacing DeSantis? Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. You see, Polly Market, Florida governor, not this one. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. I don't know if I should share this because it makes people not want to go vote because they think it's safe or not. So I don't know if I should share it or not. So he's going to be David Jolly versus Byron Donalds for Florida governor. So he has an 84. Oh, just turned. Oh, 3. 83% chance of winning. Guys, I don't know if this is a good idea to share these because then people are going to think like, oh, okay, so I don't need to go vote. He's going to win. So let me know if this is a good thing to do or not. But anyways, go vote. And then lastly, so this Alex Windman. So Alex Windman, where is this guy? So Alex Windman is breaking Alex Windman, who was one of the architects of the Trump-Russia hoax, got destroyed in his Democratic primary tonight in Florida. What is this for? Where is this for? Let me see. Alex is Democratic nomination Senate. Wait, didn't we already cover this? Oh, this is on the okay, hold on.
Democrat.
Okay. Oh, wait. So this is the non-DSA guy that lost to the DSA person for. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the non-crazy version who lost. Was also crazy because he was kind of behind the Trump-Russia hoax.
Yeah,
so
I believe he's Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go ahead.
No, I believe he's a former FBI agent. And he was very prominent in the initial post 2016 election Russia collusion discourse.
Right. Okay. So he was supposed to be over here, right? Instead of Angie Nixon, and he lost to Angie Nixon, the DSA candidate. Am I getting this right?
Yes, he lost to Angie Nixon. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Now we all are on the same page. Oh my God, we have to end the stream pretty soon. Guys, we're going to be don't forget to subscribe to the Monkey. The link is in the description, but also come join our discussion group later today in 1 hour, and it's open to all. Guys, today is free. Anybody can come and talk to us. I'll be there. Sid and Monkey will be there, right? Sid will be there.
Yep,
probably.
I'll be there.
Yes,
Yeah.
come over there and talk to us, guys. The link to our group discussion is in the description. It's also in the QR code at the top left corner of your screen. It's free today, so you could come there and talk to us. We're going to be talking politics over there. You could also, if you're not going to be in our group call, we have group calls every day in our discussion group. If you're not going to be there, at least come and watch it on Liberty Politics. I will broadcast our discussion live on Liberty Politics, and that will all be in 1 hour. Subscribe to Liberty Politics, subscribe to the Monkeys channel and Guys channel. All the links are in the description. Oh my God, we're running out of time. Love you guys. Amazon Chai, Slava Ukraine, Cuba Libre, Taiwan GIO, Long Live America, Javid Shah, Payande, Iran. Mwah. See you guys in 1 hour. Oh, wait, I got a super chat. Amy with a super chat saying, move to Michigan with hearts. Thank you, Amy. Sorry, I didn't see your super chat. Okay, bye, guys. Love you, Amy. Bye.